Welcome everyone to the Apex Legends African Throwdown. Today is the final day. Today we will know who is going to be our champions, who's going to run away with their share of that $1,000 prize pool, and of course, who's going to have all the bragging rights in Africa to say they are the best in Apex Legends. I am here today joined by Throwdow Plays and Camille Chikte. They are going to be taking you through the play-by-play of today and of course going to bring you all the hype as we go through today's fantastic matches. We have 4 maps. As we look at the schedule for today, we'll give you guys an idea of what's going to be happening today and when it's going to be happening exactly. Of course, Camille, take us through this. What's happening today with the schedule?
Oh, now you want me to take you through this. Yesterday it was mutiny. You guys threw me off the broadcast. I was sad. I was in chat. But we do have games at the head today. Kings Canyon, Olympus, Kings Canyon, and Olympus again. So as the schedule says, first match will start at 1 o'clock sharp, 1300 Central Africa time. And then, as you can see, there's a little asterisk on all the rest of the times, depending on how long the games run. When everything runs to schedule by 3:30, we will have a champion crowned here in the African Throwdown Apex Legends event.
That's exactly it. And of course, we're going to be swapping between the 2 maps. So, I mean, each team is going to have 2 chances on 2 maps. I mean, that's a pretty good chance, looking at it. But let's look at the teams today. Let's look at the standings from what happened yesterday in our first part of the grand finale. Of course, we had 4 maps yesterday. And Throwdow, you can take us through this. What happened yesterday? Give us a brief summary of our top 10.
Yeah, I think yesterday we were a little bit surprised in some of the performances of the teams. And obviously we have to look at the top of the table, Blind Peakers, who just came out with everything they've got and they showed us exactly how to play Apex. But let's not shy away from DNMK, EGSA. ATK had a bit of a rough day, but I'm sure today is the day that ATK pulls up their socks and gets right back into it. Shout out to Revert Caustic for coming 5th place. The streamer team doing bits in this one, top 5, almost in that money slot. And, if they put in a good show today, I'm sure they'll be able to maybe get a 4th place. But the top 4 teams are a little bit fearsome. Underrated ZA wasn't performing too well yesterday, but I will see them bounce back, I'm sure. Punk's not too bad. We win these, have done well after, the semi-finals coming in as a duo. They're now just running as a trio, doing the bits. Mayo Addicts down there, not doing too great. Hopefully we'll see them come towards the top 10 as well as OGC.
Exactly that, and we've had a lot of shakeups in these last few days. We had some crazy maps in semi-finals, and this grand final has not been disappointing. Now, of course, how do we get here? How do the players get to these standings? Why do we have a top 10 to bottom 10? How do they get these points? Let's look at the points distribution and give you guys an idea of how exactly these teams are capturing these points. So, of course, placements and kills. Those are your 2 main things here in Apex Legends. First place all the way to 20th place do have some sort of points allocated to them depending on where they place. First place is going to be taking that 20, and then it goes down all the way 14, 10, 8, 7, etc., etc. So, of course, the additional to that is that you can get 1 point per every kill. So, you've got a high kill running team. They're going to be looking good. If they can get their placements up just as well, then, of course, you've got a deadly combo going to absolutely guarantee a top 10 placement. But now we're talking about top 10. We're talking about top 4 quite a lot as well. And for those of you watching at home, let's look at what exactly these players are playing for, why they want to be getting into those top 4 placements. And of course, that is the prize pool. We've got a $1,000 prize pool up for grabs. Of course, 4th place taking $100, 3rd place taking $200, 2nd taking $300. And your champions of the African Throwdown will be running away with $400. Now, for those of you watching, it's a reminder, after today, we will crown those champions. We will have confirmation by the end of today who is going to be running away with those prize pools. So, I mean, I don't know what more you need. It's just absolute hype today. Throwdow, Camille Chikte are going to be taking you through it. But Throwdow, I want you to give us a rundown of Kings Canyon, the first map for today, the first one that I think a lot of people know quite well. What do you think of Kings Canyon as a map? What do you think the players are going to be looking at?
Yeah, I mean, look, yesterday when we were casting Esmeri, we were a little bit shocked with how the first game of Kings Canyon went. I mean, Crash Side, Spotted Lake, we saw such a flood of teams in that area. We saw DNMK and ATK ultimately dominate. So I'm sure today everybody has come together and just figured out the play style of the lobby. So today, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of a structured game, a lot more, teams taking a better thought process in their rotations and some of the fights that they'll be taking, considering they probably know where most teams are going to be rotating. I'm sure there'll be still a couple of teams that are a little bit shaky in terms of what to do on that map, but I'm sure they'll figure things out as we go. I mean, they have this first game and the 3rd game to figure out their Kings Canyon game plan, and obviously we still have Olympus to get through, which was also a little bit of a crazy one.
Yeah, Olympus is always just crazy. I feel like we never have a non-crazy Olympus game. But Camille, happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. We've missed you. Welcome back.
Resurrected from the dead.
We do have to talk about some of the teams.
Right.
So let me know. What
yesterday-
are you thinking?
Yesterday, I was actually worried. Personally, guys watching in the chat on the broadcast, I was worried that I'm going to tune into the stream yesterday. All the 4 games are going to happen, and we're going to come into the second day of the finals with the tournament essentially being over. Some teams so far ahead and, dominated the field. But if you look at what actually happened, we had a very competitive lobby. Our top 3 are neck and neck. Yes, Blind Peakers were the flashiest team. They won 2 of the maps that we saw, 2 in a row. They made their big statement, but Elite Gaming and, of course, DNMK are right there with them. And I feel like this finals day is really, the anticipation is even higher than after the semifinals because we had such close and competitive maps. I think there's even teams who are falling in a bit like your 7-8, your Punks, etc., who I don't think played up to their standards yesterday. I think Lag won 2 maps of 80k in their group stage, their semifinals rather. And they didn't have any good showings yesterday. So we have 4 more maps today. There's a lot of good teams left in this lobby, and I think we're going to see something amazing today. I guarantee it.
Is always going to be absolute fantastic gameplay, fantastic players, fantastic compositions as well. And I mean, we spoke a little bit about it yesterday. We saw some interesting compositions yesterday, I would say, Tendo. Take us through a little bit of that with regards to Kings Canyon, with regards to how everyone was playing yesterday. We said that yesterday was a bit of a feel-out match. That's where everyone's getting a feel for, okay, who's in the group with me? How are we going to play? Where are we going to land? Crash Site and Spotted Lakes is going to be a no, etc. So talk about compositions. How do you think the teams might be adjusting today? Have you seen any sort of compositions that you think are going to be quite popular today? What you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, looking at how the games went yesterday, I'd have to say my at least standout legends had to be Gibby, because I think Gibraltar was just so versatile in most of the situations. I mean, a lot of teams were caught odd on rotation, and they needed that extra cover to, buy them a little bit of time, as well as that defensive bombardment. Actually, sometimes it's not even about getting knocks or doing damage to the defensive bombardment. Sometimes it's just a big enough distraction for your team to be able to rotate. We had a bit of drama in terms of Rev Octane. And a lot of people aren't a big fan of the Rev Octane meta. But look, if it's in the game, you can use it. There's no need to be out there being like, yo, why are you guys using Rev Octane? Like, it's not a competitive meta. Clearly, it is competitive if, top teams are using it and they are performing. I mean, I'm looking at the likes of EGSA, who we know run that Rev Octane quite ferociously, and they do the job, and it's not as if they're an unstoppable force. Clearly, they are stoppable, only taking 1 game yesterday. DNMK and Blind Peak are showing up. And I think, Bloodhound is maybe my next up legend that I think is just really crucial. I think in these lobbies, so many people are fighting all the time, and it's hard to keep track of where people are. So Bloodhound just gives you that extra, almost like 4th member on your team that will just be like, hey guys, there's a third party, let's be careful.
It's quite interesting to me. I mean, we spoke about Rev Octane quite a bit. It's got its pros, it's got its cons. So ultimately, it's how you use it, and I guess also just the RNG of the game. We saw so many teams falling victim to that yesterday. So many teams falling victim to rotations, etc. But I'm going to let you guys talk more a little bit about what happened yesterday, what you guys are expecting today. For those of you watching at home, remember this is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. If you want to keep up with all the standings, you want all that good extra content, then make sure that you follow the Not in Gaming Africa Facebook, YouTube, Twitch channels, their Instagram, all of their socials. They keep them up to date. They keep you ready and set with all the information you need. In addition to that, if you guys are watching at home, snap a pic, take a video, let us know, tag us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We'll be retweeting those and just giving you guys a good shout out for watching and being here with us for the grand finale of the Apex Legends African Throwdown. Now, Camille, Tendo, take it away. You guys got this. Let's get it. African Throwdown. Let's go.
We are heading into game number 1. This is the final day of the African Throwdown. These are the last 4 maps we will see, and this will be the 4 maps that decide which is the best team on the continent, Nintendo. On a scale of 1 to 110, how hyped are you, sir?
I will have to go 111 over here, Camille, just to, out trump that scale. But yeah, man, it's a big day today, and this is pretty much what we've been working for the last 3 weeks, even though we had our finals yesterday and we had to put some points on the board, today is really the day where you can perform and you can come up on top. I mean, you win 2 clean games in a row. I mean, at the likes of like OGC, maybe Mayo Addicts, they win 2 clean games in the row. They might just be in contention for that top 4 spot. So you're not out just yet, regardless of how many points you are. It does look a little bit top heavy, but hey, this is Apex Legends. This is RNG based games, you know what I'm talking about? So sometimes RNG might not be in your favor, but Camille, what I'm really looking at today is an 80k win. That's what I want to see.
You know, it's very funny. I just want to tap back into the drama. I think Esmery purposely skipped me because they, my former name in Dota at some point, they used to call me the ZA Dota Drama Llama. So some old school memes there for the OGs in esports. But it's very interesting that this whole Octane Rev thing created such a spark in the community, right? From one hand, rightly so. It is super annoying, it's kind of toxic, and it's a very cheesy strat. But at the same time, if you look at how the lobbies went yesterday, Blind Peakers were a team that didn't run it, and neither was DNMK. So our top 2 teams didn't play that way. They played to their usual strategies. 20 was playing Horizon, in fact, which I was very happy to see. And then 80k, a team who's very dominant, 9 out of 10 lobbies they play in, especially in Africa, they swapped to play the Rev Octane thing, and they had, surely they the top 5, they had a great day, but it wasn't the 80k up to scratch day either. We expected them to dominate lobbies, win matches and things. So I get where it's coming from. This thing is super broken, but at the same time, it's really ironic that if you look at the lobby, Rev Octane is not the thing that's been rewarded, minus Elite Gaming, but that's the comp they always played with, right? So it's not like they have changed something to abuse the meta in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Elite has been running Rev Octane for quite some time, and I have to agree with you. I think it is definitely a difficult meta to go up against, but much like most metas, there's always a counter to it, and if the team coordinates their fight well enough, it's very easy to actually send back a lot of these, Rev Octane teams, especially if you catch them on the jump pad rotate. I mean, they can't really do much when they're in the air. You can just shoot them out of it. But here we are, we're starting the second day of the grand finals of the African Throwdown, and we're dropping into Kings Canyon. 80k taking up Crash Site today. We saw that contention with Punks, and Punks just has not gone back to that place, Camille, at all.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. They are a very aggressive team for them to take the L and be like, listen here, we don't want to fight these guys. You know just how good 80k are. And for good reason. I think yesterday, like you said, that Crash Site and Spotted Lakes in the first lobby was absolutely insane. It was, it was the apex of Apex Legends. We saw all the best teams there duking it out from the get-go. It was a crazy lobby, but like you said also, today things have settled down. People know more or less what all the team strategies are. They gauge things. They got to look back at the VODs yesterday, review what happened, and we might see a much more tactical game this time around. And as I say that, Punks is busy fighting. Caustic Treatment Plant. It's hype today. Did they get the knock here? I'm not sure, but they're looking to take the fight. They got a decent amount of guns. Tremble here running on the outside, picking up some armor and things. You could see some downs here from the get-go, and it looks like OGC Esports is the team that ran into them, but OGC much healthier. They got the blue shields, and they're getting some downs here. Too easy for them. Punk's gonna have a rough first game here, Tendo.
Yeah, definitely a rough first game, and I think it's just that fire from OGC. Oh my goodness, that was Mayo Addicts going down at the scenes as well. So things are popping off with Mayo Addicts and Punks taking a bit of an L, but yeah, onto OGC. OGC very disappointed in their performance yesterday, but on the Twitter TLs, I could see the boys were really confident to come in today, and you can just see it from this fight at Caustic Treatment, taking out a team like Punks. So they're probably feeling good about themselves, which is really good. But now Royal Esports too, in a bit of a skerfuffle here at the Gauntlet. Things are burning and it's hot a fire right now for Cloudy, who's gonna have to dip away for a little bit. Gotta be careful to not get knocked here in the air. Very vulnerable at 1 HP, almost jumps onto the zip line. Oh my goodness, I am just clenching everything at this moment, Camille, for this poor man's.
And right at the start of the game, we see both the beauty and the beast of Battle Royale. Two teams we've really hyped up coming to the finals. Punks and Mayo Addicts teams we've potentially seen the top 5 and contesting for match wins here are knocked out from the get-go in our first map. They're going to be getting 0 points out here, it is insane. That's Battle Royales for you, man.
Yeah, man. And it's kind of unfortunate there, for Punks, who just seem to not contest the right teams. Look, in every lobby, regardless of how stacked it is, I think there's certain fights that I think teams are able to back themselves. All right, we can probably take this team out and kill them, you know what I'm saying? So I think Punks is just unlucky because every team that seems to be contesting them is like one of our top teams. It's either 80k, now they're going on to OGC. So hopefully Punks can just reevaluate coming into the next game on Kings Canyon where to land, and hopefully they'll be able to put up some decent points onto the board. But 80k, DNMK making their regular rotations. They landed spotted late. DNMK, 80k landed at crash side. It's really good from the two teams as well, Camille, because they never really rotate into each other and take up that fight, because I'm sure they're aware that they're both towards this area.
Yeah, 100%. So even though they're kind of looting where they want to and playing the map in a certain way that they're comfortable with, they're not having that situation where it becomes griefing on one another. You know, they both get to play their games to a certain extent. And looking at the 80k lineup there, sort of combo we like to talk about was that, you know, the Havoc with the turbocharger, they already have that on YSO, but underrated. Looking to take a fight here, talking about Octane Rev. We're gonna see it right here, right now. Let's see who they can pressure, and is it gonna be successful is the question. They're looking for people, but they're not gonna find them just yet. As I say that, they're gonna run into Shumbies and they're gonna drop him, Cheetah Boy, with the first down.
Yeah, and underrated doing well with their Rev Totem push over here. They managed to take out the opposite Royal Esports team, but one more member still remains on the opposite side. And it's going to be TZ, the Bloodhound player, who's just going to have to zip away and hopefully play for some placement points. I mean, we know ratting in this game actually guarantees you quite a lot of points. And I must say, the rats in the Apex Legends Throwdown have, they've gotten more points than some full teams that make it to the end game. So you know what? Hopefully TZ can survive, but kudos to Underrated showing what they've got today. Underrated sitting at 6th place right now. I'm sure they're trying to get into that top 4 to get some of that money.
100% underrated. I think you said they didn't have a really good time. They've had a few rough lobbies, but they've had some few brilliant lobbies as well. This is a team a lot of us are looking out for. The 80k YSO gonna find a player there. Bradley gets brought down, and Underrated could get wiped out here. They're in a very rough position. 80k looking to put on the pressure. The Streaker took a lot of damage, but I still looking like a great fight for 80k. Look at the damage coming out of the flatline, Tendo. They're about to wipe out one of our top 6 teams. 80k, they're willing to put on the pressure today. And look at this, they've gone back to that composition they're comfortable with. No cheese today. They got their Bloodhounds, they got their Gibbies, and they're ready to play, Tendo.
Yeah, they're definitely ready to play. It looks like Fortune's gonna be the only member left on the Underrated squad, and I don't even think 80k is too concerned about chasing them. They've got 2 KP from this. They're gonna get the loot that they can from this, and they might even just chill in this area, banking on Fortune to just rotate to try to get the banners back. But we tune into Blind Peekers, who are top of the table right now. They are in the Hydro Dam making a bit of a rotation. It sounds like they've heard a bit of a fight though as well, so they're probably looking to fish onto that. And one thing I must commend this team for is their rotations, I think, Camille. They just always on the right side of the zone for some reason, just always on the right rotation so far. And I think they've just been putting a lot of work in scrims and GLL, etc., etc. But now DMT taking up a little bit of a fight. Tenchi with the R31 taking a few shots up at the top there as they start to move in slowly.
You know, me and Esmery actually had a chance to catch up with them before this tournament. Hopefully that interview will be out soon. And they were saying, I was asking Gutbuster because, like, what is the sort of strategy around the game? Because you can see they're really good FPS players. You can see they came from this other esports like Overwatch and such. And they were saying he's really been putting, as the captain especially, time. They've been getting coaching sessions. He's been watching pro review VODs. He's been putting in the time to really learn the game of Apex. And it's been paying off so far. Talking about paying off, Elite Gaming taking a long range tussle right here with the flatline. Seems to be quite effective, but don't know how hard they want to commit to this engagement. And DNMK Tenchi has taken so much damage, but does have the Phoenix hit to heal right back up.
Yeah, and DNMK and EGSA just across each other right now. It does seem, though, that the rotate is going to be called by DNMK to just make it out of this area right now. It's, you know, this is one of those areas where if you're caught out in the open, you're almost just dead, honestly. It's in the valley. There's not much cover to work with. And if you're not on the high ground, like EGSA here, you're just sacrificing your game. So I think DNMK realizes that they can't really push over to the opposite side to take that fight. So they're just going to look for a different rotation. Then we tune into this side where Blind Peekers was last seen. 69 Gaming looked to be making a bit of a push towards them, but actually OGC's on the opposite side here at Repulsor, taking shots into Hydro Dam. And OGC, another one of those teams that are really good at their rotations, but it does seem their rotation this time will have quite a few members. Dome is popped in front here, and that's actually going to be Gutbuster going down, so now 69 Gaming is going to be really aggressive on this one.
Can they get another decent damage coming out here? Kami-chan putting out the moves here. Is he going to be fine? 20 doing a lot of damage. He can get brought down though. 2 are dead and 69. They're sitting pretty healthy. Can they finish them off? Just one member left. And it looks like they're going to be able to do it. Oh, no. Aquatic. He's going to make the right plays. He's getting the hell out of here. Whoa. Okay, 69 showing up today, and this is what we were speaking about, right? Every team in this lobby is quality. It doesn't matter that your 80Ks or your GNMKs or your blind peekers are at top. Any team in the right place at the right time can bring them down, and we've seen that right here, right now. But 69 might be in a tussle themselves. We see Okami-chan gonna get brought down. The third party is there. These lobbies too competitive. OGC Esports looking like they want to punish you, Tendo.
And they're gonna zip right over the dome, though isn't thrown properly, so that's gonna be a bit costly for OGC, but not too much though, as the rest of the team is able to get on top. But then he does get knocked. The R301 shots are good from Sergia, and he's actually done so much work onto OGC, but just not enough there. Astro's the only one left. I wonder if the defensive bombardment, no, it actually looks like a third party of 80K has joined.
80K.
So now
Okay.
OGC is gonna have to make a rotate out. Astro's the only one left. He's actually gonna turn around and take some shots, but some good shots coming from him. He needs to not bite too much than what he can chew. He needs to just run away and hopefully guarantee OGC a few placement points. But 80K on the right rotation here, taking the right fights, getting the right third parties.
And this is what we can expect from the top dogs in South African esports here. As unfortunate for 69 Gaming, because I want to give them props. Yes, they got wiped out your stream, but they outfought OGC there. They were on the back foot. They had to get a res off. They got jumped on, and they won that gunfight. It was the third party that brought them down there at the end. And it looks like our streamer team, they just took one fight that they won earlier, but it looks like Cinder Live going to be dropped there in the kill feed. So unfortunate for them. Let's see if Caramel and Co can bring it back. And Astros is still alive, Tender, so he will be able to rat-a-tat-tat it out here.
Yeah, he's trying to be more than just a rat-a-tat-tat and get the banners, but 80K is still in front of you. Please don't run in this direction, please, Astros. Turn around, Astros, please. It's not worth it. Play the rat game. I know you're a big boy, Gibby, but it's really not worth. But he drops the dome. He's gonna try heal himself up here. I wonder. I feel like the rest of the team needs to give him the call to just leave the banners. 80K though, in a bit of an awkward position. He's fighting it, man, and he actually goes down. So.
Let me tell you what happened there, right? Let me tell you what happened there. Before the stream today, to hype themselves up, they went on Twitch and they went to go watch that Vias John Wicks clip, and Astros was like, I seen this before, I can do it too. But yeah, that's why they say don't do what you see in movies, kids.
Yeah, definitely. Don't see what you do in movies, don't see what you see in broadcasts, because sometimes it doesn't work out. So 80K managed to wipe out two teams there, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they had to go through 69 and OGC. Well, OGC went down to the hands of 69 due to that third party. Mafisi looked to be trying to take a fight up with 80K. Mafisi, the only team, I think, if I'm not mistaken, running as a duo, and they've been running as a duo the whole time. It hasn't really been going too well for them. They haven't been really performing, but they're here to gain some experience and do the best that they can. But top 10 in this one so far, so they're doing good. They've also got some kill points on them, so they'll be plotting their rotation. LTT in a bit of a fight here on the opposite side. Troopers taking up a lot of damage. The jump pad is used to try to get away, but to no avail. And that's Aquatics, the solo player left on blind peekers, going down. So now we're down to 9 squads. LTT taking up a couple of names in the lobby. And honestly, man, I want to give a shout out to LTT. They haven't really been a standout team for me in this throwdown, Camille, but they've definitely been consistent, I think, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. They've had a couple of good games, especially in the group stages. They've had their standout performances. These lobbies, like we said, are very competitive. And this was the point I wanted to bring up right now, Tendo, is that, yes, you look at blind pickers here on the top of the lobby, but now they went out in 10th place. They hardly got any kills this game. So our number one team was just eliminated right off the bat. So there's just still so much place to play for. Even if you're a bottom team, fight for that top 4 spot. Get your prize money. Make that guap. There's always a chance and an opportunity in Apex Legends. We got 4 maps still to play. It's been great so far, though. Like, this has been a hype game 1 on day number 2.
Yeah, it definitely has been hype, and we still got some heavy hitters in this one. I mean, look, I think for the storyline of today, we need this 80K win to really open up the lobby. So far, Blind Peekers has gone out at the top, so they won't be getting themselves too many points. I mean, if things continue going on like this, it looks like DNMK will be our top team. But look, I'm banking on this 80K win right here. I feel like the boys are doing good so far. They've got some really good rotations. They've been playing these edge of zone fights and farming these kills as well. So they're getting the points on the board. So hopefully they find themselves in a good position and they'll be able to move forward. But now look at this, EGSA, they're in trouble, yeah.
And it's Royal Esports who brought this down. Yes, they hit from the long range, and now Elite Gaming, they're going to pop the totem, but it's going to be a 2-on-3 fight here. Can they win it out? Some good shots coming out. Margin going to be down and out for the count. Can Royal Esports take this fight? It's a tough battle. We've seen what Vias can do in the past, but they do have the tactical advantage, it seems. Alphon going to have to heal up, though.
seems like a reset is coming from the teams right now. So they'll be able to get the res onto Margin. It
Totem
doesn't
has
look
been
like
used,
Royal
though.
is the... Yeah, the totem has been used, so they don't have that utility anymore. So this is just going to have to be a gunfight. And as well as the bombardment, so a lot of utility has been used in this fight so far. So this is going to have to be a full-out gunfight. And speaking of gunfights, we all know John Wick himself is the best out there with it. So now EGSA versus Royal Esports. Yeah.
Alphon threading the lines there. We see Vice pumped up his great shield now with all the damage he's been putting out. Gonna take a heavy hit there himself. There's a lot of snipers also in the lobby. A lot of people playing the high grounds as well. So these fights are so dangerous out here in the open because there's always a chance for that long range third party. Forget even the committal third parties. But I think Elite Gaming, they're gonna back themselves in the fight. I don't see them. Oh, they're gonna leave. Am I wrong? Never mind.
Yeah, this looks like they caught catch up the time, and they saw the time is not on their sides, and they're gonna have to make this rotate, especially Royal. They're actually gonna collide into each other here because Royal is going through that choke there, and they're going through this choke here, and they're gonna pretty much just end up in front of each other. So I'm sure this fight is gonna break loose. On the opposite end, though, ATK seems to be taking up a fight with LTT as Turbo has gone down, and yeah, here it is. They're gonna just get in front of each other here. Majin trying to get a sneaky angle here to do some damage with the R99. Royal not giving up much though to EGSA, but Alphonse taking up a lot of damage but dealing a little bit of damage as well on his side. They're back against the wall here, pretty much behind this cover, and it's not much to work with as the R-Star goes out onto Alphonse and he gets knocked now. So it's Cloudy and Troy who are left. The zone's also pulling them in, so the rotate has to come through, and EGSA look good to clean up this fight.
Margin really backing himself here in Royal Esports. They look good in the first round of this battle, but in Rumble of the Jungle number 2, they are getting knocked the hell out, it seems. Margin playing very aggressive, and a great showcase of movement there from him, waiting for his right time, and he pounced, getting some nice picks off there. And DNMK look like they're in the area as well. They got one of the kills on the Royal Esports members, so we could see that EGSA versus DNMK in battle. We all love to see, but look at Cloud. He's still doing damage from the high ground. He's not out of it just yet, fighting for his team. EGSA, they popped the totem. Who are they going to find though? If they run into DNMK, it could be interesting. But DNMK looked to be on the other side. It was a long range shot to get that kill there with the G7 scout.
DNMK have also done well to take this position up in the zone, and there's almost no teams in this area, and the zone's probably going to pull towards them. They did have that Bloodhound beacon that I saw them pop, so they've been plotting out this zone for quite some time now. And look at the EGSA just utilizing this charge tower so they can get their ultimates back up. And you know, that's one thing I think that I'll say puts the Revenant meta kind of like at an equal footing. You don't get charge towers on any other map besides King's Canyon. So I'd say Rev Octane is really only like a really good meta to use on King's Canyon, because on Olympus the map's too big and you're probably not going to get to your designated, you know, third party location or whatever it may be using that Rev totem. So on King's Canyon it's a really good meta. And I mean, I can even recall some games, Camille, if you're watching yesterday, where EGSA pops their totem, they jump into a fight, but there's just so much room for them to work with that they're unable to capitalize off that totem push.
The best example was in the semis where DNMK like rotated to the totem when EGSA ran into the fight, and the minute they all respawned, they came back and DNMK wiped them. It was a good tactical move by DNMK, of course, but like you say, in Olympus, a lot can go wrong with these Octane Rev combos. Revtane, as they call it.
Yeah, and the rotates are coming through now. DNMK does spot EGSA, but there's enough foliage in the area for them to get enough cover. Yeah, actually, there's 7 squads left. The zone's about to get really tiny. So I wonder where a lot of these squads are hiding up. I wonder if there's a lot of solos. I mean, look, Cloudy there is a solo left on Royal Esports. Revet Caustic are still in this one as well. And honestly, these boys have been doing so good with reading the zone and just playing their time out, you know, and they've mainly been getting their points via placement. And not a bad position they're in. They're in the zone. Or Tremble as well, Rat in this one, just chilling out. Revert Caustic is going to be above them, so they do have to be careful.
Oh, we cast this curse to Tremble. We apologize. ATK going to find that Rat here. So he's going to get knocked out. Then the life looking to take a fight here. Shot not 100% on the mark. Going to get the heal up though. There might be pressure. He's looking to take this gunfight. Is it just a Rat waiting there looking to die? I'm not sure. And Cloudy in a very weird position here as well. Trying to get that first place finish.
He's in such a tough spot, honestly, and it actually looks like it's a full team that's just ratting on the edge of the zone. Yeah, the ultimate does go down, It does look like the NMK is also taking up a couple of fights on their end. Yeah, Revel Caustic looking to fish out these kills. They do have a couple of kill points on the board, but they are looking to get some more. Currently sitting at 5th place, so this is a really good game for them to solidify their 5th place finish, especially since I'm not too aware where Underrated is. They did go out, actually. Yeah, I remember them going out, so they're doing well to stay on top of Underrated at this point with Red Caustic.
Yeah, my words of encouragement to Caramel Gamer, really carrying him strong here. But all memes aside, Revert Caustic has done very well. They're in the top 5. They are competing for prize money, and they're in a very good position now in this first lobby of day number 2 here of the finals. But we have a lot of quality teams left. Your DNMKs, your ATKs are still here and ready to battle it out.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the zone, I'll have to just give it to DNMK for this win. I just think they have so much control. And one thing about DNMK is once they've taken control of a zone, they don't let anybody get past them. So they're going to just be scouting out and seeing what they can fish out in terms of just whatever information they can get. They do obviously have those scans as well. So as soon as this next zone closes, I wouldn't be surprised. Artruly sends out the scan to see what's happening. ATK on the opposite end there, just below DNMK. So that's a little bit shaky. It does look like the teams are trying to rotate in, and that has to be Revert Caustic on the opposite end taking a lot of this smoke. They're not quite in this next zone, so DNMK is gonna look
ATK found bias. They found the rotation onto EGSA. I even forgot they were still here, but they were in a great position, and now that might be rough. But let's see if DNMK finish out the streamer team. They get the drop on Daddy Cool here. Can they find the rest? Caramel, what can you do? You gotta go down, fam. It isn't there around today. And ATK still fighting up against EGSA. They drowned Margin as well, so it should just be one member left.
Oh,
ATK and DNMK, the top dogs. They're the only two left. What a finals! This is exactly what we've been waiting for. The fight is breaking out already. The speaker already going to get dropped. Is DNMK going to win? You know, your prediction going to be right. They drop YSO as well. DNMK about to be the lobby leaders here. One more pick needed and they do it. GG, well played.
Wow. Honestly, I called it as soon as I saw the position as DNMK. They just had control of the zone. They knew exactly what was happening in front of them. And yeah, I mean, as soon as they pick off Revert Caustic, which I think would have been their biggest threat being right behind them, they've pretty much won that game. ATK taking out EGSA pretty much leaves them vulnerable, you know, for a third party. And that's exactly what happens, especially since DNMK cleans up their fight so quickly. They're just ready to step onto ATK. So almost got that ATK win, man. Just almost there.
Ooh, that was spicy. I mean, looking at it now, we had such a different, gameplay than what we saw yesterday in the finals. We had a couple of different teams coming into our top 5. We had a couple of different teams coming into our top 10 even. So I think the placement points are going to be quite interesting when we get back. Camille, I'm going to ask you first. What was your standout moment there for that first map?
Ooh, I think DNMK got the win, but they were very good yesterday, so I think it's just business as usual for them. But I'm really glad to see the way ATK played in this game. I think they were playing up to their standard. They were playing up to scratch again because they went back to the comp they're comfortable with. Their rotations were on the money. Their gunfights, it wasn't just. Obviously, we know these guys are cracked when it comes to aiming, but the way they rotated into Underrated, the way they third-partied, they played phenomenal competitive Apex today, honestly.
Tender, from your side, I mean, looking at it now, that was absolutely insane. What can you say about DNMK? Come on, I'm giving you the floor here.
I mean, look, DNMK, we know them to be one of the best in the region, and they always show it just by how smart they play and how aggressive they play. And I think that's something you have to commend DNMK. They're not only a good fighting team, but they're also a smart team alongside with that, So they never really get themselves into awkward situations. And even if they do, they always have an exit plan. So I think that's one thing you have to commend them. MVP, I'm not too sure who it's going to be, though.
Oh, here it is. Artruly coming clutch here with the 4 kills, the 1.3k damage. I mean, ultimately, looking at it, we had a lot of teams and a lot of players actually doing so much damage, so many kills. I mean, we had some interesting moments with players going into situations where they shouldn't have been. But ultimately, I think it is fantastic to see that we've got some of our top performers really showing up today and giving a little bit of love there to Artruly is always good to see. Guys, that was insane. Tendo, I'm going to ask you as well. Standout moment for that first map. What's it going to be?
Oh, that's such a difficult one. I feel like this game was really balanced. I feel like no team really was like overtaking the lobby. I feel like the teams that were performing obviously were in our top 5, and that's clear to see that they were performing. But I think in terms of just like the evenness of this lobby, it's kind of scary today because I mean, like I said, if Revert Caustic is able to handle themselves a little bit better on that rotate versus DNMK, they might be able to fight DNMK and distract them long enough for 80K to finish up the fight against EGSA and reset, and then rotate onto DNMK, and then we're talking a different story here, right? And or Revert Caustic wins the fight, resets, and they end up winning over DNMK. So it was really hard to call a favorite moment for me. So I just enjoyed the whole game. But I have to say, Astros pretending to be Superman and go back for those banners, that has to be actually my standout moment, honestly.
100%. 100%.
Between that and Cloudy somehow, some way making it out there with 2 HP from the get-go, we had quite an insane game on Kings Canyon. But for those of you watching, we will have the standings when we get back from the break. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, and if you haven't already, you better be following Northern Gaming on their socials. You better be hyping them up in the chat because we've got some insane gameplay coming. You need to be here to support these teams. They're putting in the work, and we can't wait to see how it's going to end. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, and we've just had the first spiciest match of the day on Kings Canyon. We had an interesting couple of top 5s, top 10s, and ultimately it was DNMK that took away the W. Now, obviously, we've had some standings yesterday. We've had a couple of matches yesterday that have given us quite an interesting top 5, top 4 being where you're going to get a share of that prize pool. But now, after the first map of today, the standings have shifted a little bit. How they exactly look like, we're going to have to look and see. But Camille, Tendo, I mean, was that an expected outcome based off what was yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, look, DNMK, I want to say we're performing quite well yesterday, and like I said, this lobby is pretty evenly matched, so it wasn't gonna be them running in and just rolling and cleaning up the entire lobby. So I think based on their performance from yesterday, they've carried it over, and they, very expected win from them. Will they win the next 3 games? Probably not. I think the rest of these teams are really hungry for a win. So look, we can't count them out, but yeah, I mean, look, DNMK win expected for at least this first game.
Camille, from your side, what are you thinking?
I think a lot of the time we've been hyping up just how open and expansive the lobby is. You have 20 really good teams and stuff, but the extra credit has to be given to the top teams on the African continent. Your ATKs, your DNMKs, your Elite Gamings, your Blind Peakers, your top of the groups have been the best in the lobby. They've consistently made your top 5 finishes. The standings show a similar story here, and I think we're going to have very competitive games going into match 2, 3, and 4 today, because as you see, the standings have shifted completely. Blind Peakers, our champions of yesterday, are now almost 30 points behind DNMK off the top. So there's a lot of changes that's going to need to be made, and anything can happen in Battle Royale. The best team yesterday was taken out right at the get-go in just one bad gunfight, so you just never know how these things are going to happen.
Man, oh man, looking at that now, exactly that. I mean, we had 1 points difference between Blind Peakers and DNMK yesterday, our top 1 and top 2nd team on the leaderboard. So it's crazy to see. And in addition to that, Elite Gaming, they've gone all the way up to 2nd place right now. ATK still in the top 4, in 4th place, and Revert Caustic in top 5. Tendo, take us through the rest of the games. What were you thinking? How is this exactly what you were expecting to have to be the outcome?
Look, like I said earlier, I think for us to see a more open lobby, because now it's feeling a little bit top heavy. Obviously, the NMK sitting with 122 points. I mean, kudos to them. They're really putting in the work. But look, if ATK had ended up winning that game, they probably would have shot up to about that. But the points are pretty steep. But look, I think if you're looking at the table right now, you still have to give it your all. It does seem like they're running away with it, but one good game will really put you up at the top. I mean, looking at EGSA, they just need to win one good game, and DNMK to have a bad game, they'll end up on top. Blind Peakers, just the likes, one good game, one win from them will push them up. And I'm not looking away at ATK as well. I mean, they can still do it. They can still farm up the lobby quite well and put themselves at least at a 2nd place, maybe leading into that 3rd, 4th game, looking to maybe come at the top of the table. But at the rest of the teams, at this point, yeah, you're really just playing for that tweet at the end of the series. You know what I'm saying? Guys, we came 5th place. Guys, we came 6th place. And you still have to give it your all, because that's something to walk away with, Best teams in Africa, you going up against them, you come 5th place. That's something to walk away with and be proud of. I mean, Revert Caustic right now have done well to retain that 5th place lead. So hopefully we'll see them there. But underrated, you can't count them out just yet. Maybe a sneaky underrated win. Mayor Addicts haven't really performed up to standard just yet. And I know, Esmeri, you were a big fan of Mayor Addicts, and hopefully they can pull it back.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams that we were looking at in the group stages, looking at the semi-finals, that we were like, oof, these guys, definitely a top 4 finisher, maybe a top 3 even, have fallen off a little bit. And that is thankfully, well, unfortunately, to the gods of RNG and how the game really goes. As Battle Royales, at the end of the day, you can't control who you're going to be running into. If you're Astros, you can't control the fact that you're running straight into ATK's crosses when you just want to get your team's banners. Anyway, moving on, it is what it is. It is Battle Royales, and at the end of the day, we can't control these outcomes, but what we can control is what we're going to be putting on social media. So for those of you at home, if you are watching right now, if you are with us in chat, remember to send us a photo, post it on social media, tag us, and we will retweet. We'll give you guys some love just to say thank you for being with us and to give back some of the incredible love that you guys have shown this tournament and that you have shown the players. We really appreciate it, and we want to give back a little bit. So please tweet us there. Instagram, at all of that, hashtag African Throwdown. It's going to be good, it's going to be spicy. Now, talking about a map, we are going back to Olympus. We've just seen Kings Canyon, we've just seen our favorite map gone and away with the wind, and it was an absolutely spicy game. Whether or not we're going to have another aggressive, another action-packed game once again on Olympus, I feel like that's possible, but we never know at this point. At this rate, I am going to give it over to Tendo Plays and Camille Chite. They're going to take you through the play-by-play of this insane game, of this insane tournament with these amazing players and teams. Ultimately, guys, this is the Apex Legends African Throwdown hosted by Northern Gaming Africa. If you have not already, better follow those Twitch and YouTube so you can keep up to date with everything, and the socials to keep up to date with the standings and the extra content. So, guys, let's get it. Over to you guys.
We are heading into game 2 here on the African Throwdown Finals Day. Tendo, in the last map, we saw a very, how to say this, a tactical game. We saw DNMK making very clear rotates around the map, holding their positions, playing very smart Apex. We saw similar things from ATK, really timing their rotations in, third-partying to the finest order. But that was Kings Canyon, a map everybody knows well, a map that's constructed in a way that leads to good Apex Legends. But on the other hand, here in map number 2, we out here back to what we like to call the Wild West. How do you expect this lobby to sort of pan out as opposed to game number 1?
I mean, look, I want to say maybe a little bit more tactical, a little bit more slow pace, but obviously the map doesn't always allow that to happen, especially if you're, like you said earlier, you never know who you're going to run into with RNG, right? You might just run into ATK or DNMK, blind peekers, the likes, and you have to take up that fight and you have to win up that fight. So it's really going to depend on rotations, I think, with this map. And unlike Kings Canyon, I will say, I think this map is very big on rotations. Kings Canyon, I think sometimes you can get away with slacking off on rotations and, fighting a little bit more. But I think on this map, if you end up fighting a lot more, you're just going to get caught out and teams are going to start to rotate on you. So I'd like to see, especially my teams to look out for this game is Punks and OGC. I just feel like they're really, really good teams, man. And I just don't feel like they're getting the good side of RNG. I feel like every fight they're taking up is a top team. And hopefully in this game, they rotate towards those teams that aren't really up at the top, that they can win fights against. But hey, look, you can't count anybody out, but hopefully they do get those points on the board.
100%. And rotations, like you said, there's a lot more space on this map to rotate. And we've seen it being a defining factor a lot of the times. I can't remember if it was a lag game or underrated game. It could have even been a Mayo Addicts game where they were doing really well in the lobby, and then they ended up just dying to zone out of their own volition because they didn't make the correct rotation. After getting like 4 or 5 kills in the match, it was like a very hilarious thing, one of my highlights of the tournament. But it does just go to show how diligent you need to be on the rotations on this map. But like you say, there's Punks, there's underrated. Lag is the team I really want to spur on. I think they showed us. I mean, we really underrated them. They're a team from Egypt. We didn't know them coming into this event, but they had some great games, and I don't think they've brought that same fire there to the finals. Mayo Addict was a top 2 team in the group. After the first 4 group stage games, they were the top 1 team. They were ahead of Elite Gaming, but now in the finals, on the most important stage, they haven't managed to bring it just yet. But still 3 more lobbies to play, and I really hope, even if it's not for a top 3 placement, for the Pride to show the world their level of skill, that they really show up for these games. See Orbital Canyon? Oh, no. Yeah, we did see one team drop there. But yeah, take it away, Tendo. Take it away.
Yeah, the teams are going to be landing in, and I wonder what contestants we are going to see. But I mean, look, today is one of those days, we even saw it on the last map, where teams aren't actually contesting each other too much off drop because they pretty much know exactly where they are. Punks, I would say, was that one team that just didn't know where to go. And I think it's just because, like, again, they just keep fighting these teams where the fights are just not in their favor. But look, there's a lot of teams actually going towards this Oasis carrier dockside. We do know that ATK usually likes to land at docks on Olympus, so you got to be careful there. One team going to Turbine/Fight Night here, and we'll see just how well the loot distribution is. This is a bit of an awkward landing, in my opinion. You never want to land at your drop spot and run into it. You got to land in it and just starting off the bat, because these are precious seconds that are being wasted. And honestly, something I recommend the teams to practice is getting to those drop spots. And obviously it does depend on how the drop ship does come into the map, but it definitely is one of those little things, Camille. Like, a lot of the game in terms of winning, and you'll notice that with the top teams such as DMK and ATK, is actually won when not fighting. It's won through the rotations, it's won through getting information, it's won through getting the right loot, etc., etc.
I mean, last game is a perfect example of that. DNMK in a lot of the matches truly smash lobbies. Like, they're getting double-digit kills. They're styling your MVP, sitting on like 9,000 damage at the end of the game. But that was a very quiet game. Our MVP only had 1,300 damage, and this was a good reason because, like you say, there's more to Apex than just shooting, right? There's all these little things, how you drop, the way you rotate, all those little things. And I think, especially at this highest level in these, crunch time matches in the finals, these little things are even more important.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why it's also like point of interest as well, why people compete for it so much. I'm sure you're watching the GLL Master Spring where we saw ATK and DNMK contest each other. A bit of drama broke up on Twitter, like, why are two ZA teams fighting? It's not them fighting, they want that spot because it has good loot, it guarantees you a beacon as well, so you can plot out your rotations, and you can definitely see the more S-tier drop spots definitely bring out the more S-tier teams, and that's just something you have to fight for sometimes.
100%. End of the day, DNMK and ATK might be at the bar together after this tournament, but in these things, they hardcore rivals and blind peekers. They had a rough first map here in day number 2 of the finals, but this time around, looking to redeem themselves, fighting up against Mafisi. Horizon, it's off the vertical lift. Are they going to manage to get off the kills here as well, though? Mafisi on the run. They're playing with a Bangalore and a Caustic. So this is the lineup they've run with, I think, the whole tournament, if I'm not mistaken. There's a few teams standing by the Caustic and Gutbuster doing a lot of damage, but he's going to get dropped himself. And actually, he didn't manage to bring one down. Blind Pickers might be in trouble here. But can they carry pull us out? 20 doing a lot of damage. What we expect from the entry fraggers here of this Blind Pickers team. But it's a 2-on-2 event right now. Let's see who's going to win. Look at the damage coming out here. Blind Pickers are a lot of pressure here, Tendo. Are they going to win this fight though? Look at the damage coming from the alternate. They're going to bring another one down.
The tables have turned. It's a 1v1 though. So now it's a Aquatic who has to win this one up. But the Mastiff does so much damage onto him. Is this going to be it for Blind Peekers? Sitting at third place, they need this win. Aquatic needs to clutch it up, and he does. And Blind Peekers, by the skin of their teeth, are in this one. They need to shake it off. They need to pull their socks up because Blind Peekers has not turned on just yet. Luckily, though, they go up against Mafisi, who haven't been too much of a formidable force in this lobby, but definitely do have the mechanical skill, and you can definitely see that in this fight against Blind Peekers. They almost got them. So now they just get the opportunity to reset. Hopefully there's no third parties in the area. And yeah, I mean, man, Camille, it's just like so stressful sometimes because no matter how good a team is, sometimes you just never know how good that other team is just with coordinating their gunfights. And I say this often, it's communication is another one of those off the gunplay skills that a lot of teams need to work on, and communication is key because shoot one person together, you have a man advantage,
And it's so weird because 9 out of 10 times when Gutbuster jumps in to be aggressive like that on the Gibby, has to make his shots into like 3 players, he usually does. But on finals day, if it doesn't work out for you, it can be very, very detrimental. It can be a big risk, and it can just be the thing that really affects you on the day. If they were out here, they chanced that winning this lobby could be really high with just 2 matches left to play, having a bad finish here in the second map. But they managed to clutch it out in the end. It was a very sweaty situation, but it's a game of margins at the end of the day. Esports at the highest level. These things are super impactful. We win this. Gonna fight up against Mayo Addicts. Can Mayo Addicts take this fight? K9 looks like it was dropped though. So not an easy fight for them. They're gonna have to fight 2 versus 1 here. They did get another 2 drops themselves, so they should be able to win it out in the end. Look at the damage from the Spitfire. This gun is just ridiculous, actually. And Mayo Addicts do manage to win out that fight. So another team we really were putting pressure on, hoping they do better. They finally do clutch something out, but it looks like the team is looking to jump on them. The Octane Red Combo is here. Outlaws NG gonna do Dr. Sid proud here. Did they get a knock? No, they didn't. But Mayo Addicts will be under a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, and this is such a good push from Outlaws who dropped this totem down, and they're just gonna come back and try clean up Mayo Addicts, but luckily Cold with the Spitfire is doing so much to just buy the team some time here. The zone is gonna be ticking down on them and moving, so this is a very, very clutch situation. So now it's that decision. Does Outlaws go for this, risk staying in the zone for an extended period of time, or do they go for the rotate here? It does seem like they're scouting out first to see if they want to go for this. It does look like Mayo Addicts, though, are going to leave Cooper behind and just go for the rotate. And they're going through the phase runner, Camille, which is very risky because on that opposite end, you don't know what's there.
Man, oh man, but desperate times call for desperate measures because, like you say, Outlaws didn't want to really give them a chance here. They're camping out this Cooper's box and they're looking like they want to fight. So great rotation from the Nigerian team, really showing up here on finals day. They were very close to the top 10 yesterday, and Dr. Sid did say he's donating $100 personally if they can do Nigeria proud and make it onto that top 10 finish. But Royal Esports had a very good map 1. They seem to be looted up quite nicely, and like you say, going to this rift portals is very dangerous because you don't know who you're going to run into at the end of the day. Croconostas and Royal Esports playing in a very similar vicinity right now. We'll see if a clash breaks out between them. CRC, they were also quite a what's the word to say, like quite an underdog team in the groups. None of us really noticed them, and then they just kept on getting these like high place finishes. They're rotating on the map path. They played a lot of snipers with the charged rifles, quite ironically. But let's see what they managed to do here in game 2 in this finals lobby, and we see Cheetah Boy bringing down Cinder live there in the kill feed. The streamer team might be in trouble fighting up against Underrated this time round.
Might be in trouble indeed, but it's actually a 3-way fight here because OGC is also involved and they've taken down a member over on Underrated. So this is a big cross fight that ATK is maybe involved in as well, considering they're almost in a similar area. And Dust needs to be careful. He's taking up a lot of smoke here and he keeps peeking that angle and he just needs to be careful. But actually this is Blind Peekers on the opposite end of the fight versus ATK. ATK have taken up a lot of smoke here. Champy goes down as well, so it's all up to Weisel, but the zone's also ticking down onto Blind Peekers. So now it's just micromanaging what to heal. Weisel's here. He's gonna have to go for the med though, or he will go down to the zone. One member left on Blind Peekers, one member left on ATK. So here's 20 now taking it down, and he takes out ATK. So Blind Peekers here are just surviving these fights by the skin of their teeth, man. Like honestly, first it's Aquatic to clutch a fight, now it's Trendy to clutch a fight. Blind Peekers is here to win this tournament. They want to be crowned the African Throwdown champions.
They do indeed. A true clash of the Titans broke out there. Before we get to that, looks like OGC still in the fights here. And Tweet Team actually, I don't think he managed to get the reses off because obviously in the zone, people are just dying. And OGC looking for some fights here. They bring on Caramel Gamer. This fight is actually still happening. The streamer team still surviving. But Tendo, I just want to talk about this fight. You talk to the Blind Peekers, right? If you talk to a lot of the people in the greater Apex Legends community, they feel, you know, your DNMKs, your ATKs, these massive orgs, these great teams obviously get a lot of limelight, a lot of backing, but a lot of these guys feel like they have a chip on their shoulder. They have to prove themselves in the community because they got that skill, and they really did there, bringing down the Titans of ATK. They showed the lobby who they are on top of the wins they've already had. But it's going to be a rough situation for Tweety. He's going to have to pull some via John Wick strat if he wants to get his team into a top 5 finish, maybe even greater.
Yeah, and we're just seeing a lot of top-heavy clashes as well. I mean, well, not really, because OGC and Underrated aren't really towards that top side. But I mean, look, it was OGC, Underrated, as well as Revenge Course taking a fight. But it looks like Underrated is actually the team that was able to manage their team well. Cinder has gone down. But now 69 is also involved, so many teams are getting flocked into this area. Cheetah Boy has taken a lot of damage. The wingman shots, though, are insane, as they dominate over 69 Gaming and take them out. So Underrated are here to make some noise.
And you know what's great about this lobby? In the last one, we really spoke about the tactics, right? We spoke about the, you know, the brains needed, the strategy needed to be a top Apex Legends team. Here on Olympus, from the top teams, we're seeing the skill needed, just how good these guys actually are in the gunplays in these clutch situations. Underrated showing up, Blind Peekers in the roughest of rough situations been showing up, and it's been some phenomenal Apex here. Stream, you better be appreciating this because this doesn't come around every day. And Croconostas, they still in it. They've made a top 10 finish here, playing a very slow game. It's always been their tactic. Let's see how long they can keep on pulling it off. Royal Esports is a team in a similar area who's been playing in quite a similar fashion as well. So if you see these teams battle it up, it'll be quite ironic that the most defensive teams have to fight against each other.
Yeah, definitely, because they never really look to take some fights. They're always looking for a good third party to get involved with. And you can just see by the way they're playing these buildings, they're not even fishing, they're not exposing much. The zone is going to be closing in soon. And we're already down to 9 squads. And I mean, it's exactly what we were speaking about, you know, leading into this game, where Olympus is mainly about rotations, and you could see so many teams were rotating onto that fight where OGC, Revert, Caustic, Underrated were involved in, and it just kept sucking players in. But the teams that were smart didn't get sucked into those rotations. And now these are our teams that are alive right now. And if you have to notice, we're looking at like DNMK and EGSA, who have been quiet this game, have no idea where they are. They're waiting for their opportunity to win the game, though.
They are indeed.
Look at them.
DNMK.
Here they are.
Everybody's playing the, like a lot of these teams, like you say, playing this very slow game. Even DNMK, a team we've seen, I'm pretty sure seen with 20 bomb on this map, has decided to play a very different tactics. Elite Gaming again playing this Rev10 combo, they classic here. Been quiet, but as I say that, the fight's about to break out, looking to pressure some people, and we're only getting into zone 3 in 2 minutes. Like, the lobby has been lightning fast.
Lightning fast as they pop the Rev Totem. And look, this is exactly why it doesn't work on this map that well. There's so much ground for them to cover. Even if they had to jump pad, they just get shot out of the air. So now they're just trying to get as close as they can, but they actually managed to single out one player. So Outlaws just didn't do well with their communication there, and they just all need to be on top of here. So now EGSA has the advantage, and they're probably going to push onto Outlaws. So yeah, look, I think if Outlaws was able to handle this a little bit better with a bit more team coordination, they would have handled that Rev push. But look, they still have a little bit to work with. They've also got a Rev Totem on their side here. Catboy doing as much as he can, but it's just not going to work out too well for them, as EGSA is just an overwhelming force at this moment.
Oh man, EGSA, top tier coordination there. And like you said, Outlaws, one of their players had the right idea, exactly the right idea how to deal with the Rev 10 combo. They shot him through the air, almost like he didn't miss a shot there in terms of tracking the enemies, but other teammates not in position, and that's where the tactical play, again, is a very big impact in Apex Legends. Your communication is not on point, your positioning is not on point. These combos really do punish super heavily.
Yeah, and this fight is actually breaking loose at this point here, and I'm sure it's Croconautas versus Royal Esports 2. Troy's taking up a lot of damage, does need to be careful, does have that butt at least to pop. And it does look like the team's going to be aggressive here, and they're gaining some ground. Actually, it's also because EGSA was in this area, so now they're just trying to fish this third party. And Days Machine going down, so Croconautas not too sure where they are in this area. They might just be hiding, waiting for their opportunity, the third party. Royal Esports has smelled blood, and they are going to push in on this one. Troy running in with the EVA 8. Elite Gaming doing well, though, to just maneuver out of this fight as much as they can. They're going to kick this door down and just confirm this kill at least. But EGSA, not too sure where the other two members are at this point. They're probably trying to plot out how to win this fight. The team is stacked on top of each other right now, Royal Esports, so they're doing well. But it does look like Jazz on the opposite end is taking up another fight here and has taken down 20. So 20 is probably out for the count. Probably the last player left on Blind Peak is not sure if they were able to get any banners and recover that. It does look like the EGSA is going to make the right choice here, but not right enough as they're running out in the open, and the charge rifle from Cloudy takes down Jazz Jurek. So now it's just Vyaz. John Wick himself has to make a comeback. Croconautas have been quiet here. They haven't shown any presence at all.
And Royal Esports, I feel like this is a team that's consistently done well, and I've never given credit to, but man, oh man, here on the biggest stage, they've really showed up. And with the sniper, like you said, they got two big picks there, and look at what the sniper player finds, a freaking Kraber. So they're ready to rock here in this map number 2 in our finals. And I think the happiest team with all these things has to be by far DNMK. They're just watching all their competitors get wiped out. ATK first, Blind Peaker second, and now it looks like EGSA gonna be in a rough position themselves with only Vyaz left. Yes, we've seen his John Wick tactics, but I don't know if we'll be seeing them again here in the finals. But Royal Esports under a bit of pressure right now. Is that the other Royal Esports team pressuring them? I'm not even sure.
Can get a bit confusing sometimes, but look, DNMK have just relaxed this entire game, and they just racking in all these placement points. And I mean, look, we can always count on DNMK to be the smart team and know exactly where to position themselves for this next zone. So they're going to put themselves in the position to win this next game. So these other teams that have been fighting really need to get to this end game right now. Outlaws are still in this one, so doing Dr. Sid proud there all the way in Nigeria, as it's just Xander the gamer who is left, the lone Octane. Doesn't even look like he has any meds to work with, just gonna try to hide out. You gotta be careful, DNMK is on top of you, and they will be looking out for any rats hiding out in the area. OGC still in this hunt as well. It's all up to Denny, the Wraith player, as well, ratting things out. So we've got a full team of DNMK, Royal Esports 2, as well as underrated, and then obviously we've got our two rats in this moment.
Very competitive and stacked lobby. There's three really solid teams. The Kraber shot comes out, 99 damage. Ooh, that was a big one. But Kenny's team really pressured to rotate on them. We do have the... I mean, it's very risky at this point to jump and take a fight, right? Because you never know who's going to be there for the third party. You really want to be playing for your end game at this point. Even though you get a chance to maybe get a pick, get some cracks off.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if the squads are aware of the situation, they'll know there's two rats hiding around and they're probably looking out. So you don't want to be underrated taking a fight or DNMK taking a fight / Royal Esports taking a fight against one or the other, because then you just open up the third party to, you know, just ruin the rest of your game. And actually enjoying where underrated is playing right now. They're playing from a position where they're getting enough information on the rotates of the rest of the team to see what is happening while maintaining this high ground. The building is still in place, so that might be huge for whoever is able to capitalize on that building, but that just depends on how the zone is going to be rotating. And there, Troy picking up the kill leader in the lobby as well, so he's been doing good this game. Royal Esports have really been performing, so this game is really going to push them towards that top of the table. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them maybe in a 6th place, but I mean, underrated has been racking up some kills, so we'll have to see how that one goes. So now they take up the building. That's not quite in the center of the zone there. Royal Esports is still underrated up at the high ground, holding things down, and DNMK on the opposite end. But look at the zone and how it's favoring underrated.
That is so lucky for them. Sometimes, you know, you gotta have that balance of skill and luck, and I think they have done it just that today. DNMK is gonna have to rotate to them at some point. They do have a Gibby though. Kenji, not about the Revtain, you know, cheese life. He's about playing good Apex Legends, and I feel like Gibby in this situation is one of the best heroes to allow those rotations. Or Legends, rather, to allow those rotations. And we'll see how it pans out. OGC still have the one rat alive. They take a little bit of a damage. I wonder what... You know, these rats can really mess up these end games sometimes, depending on forcing a team to, you know, take them out or taking out one player just to rack up the kill points. It's always a weird thing, but it looks like DNMK are going to take up the task of being the exterminators here and eliminating this rat. Oh, a lot of damage.
Who are you gonna call? Rat Busters. Who are you gonna call? Rat Busters. But okay, all jokes aside, it does seem like all of our rats are out of this one, and it's only the full teams that are left. And one thing about Bonsai Plaza is there's so much like cover, there's so many angles to cover, so it's really difficult for these teams. But underrated with a really good position, and the problem that we see here is now DNMK and Royal Esports 2 are on level playing ground, right? So it's really a fight between them, and underrated is just gonna have to guard their ground up here, and as long as they can do that, I don't see why underrated doesn't win this game. But look, you can't count out DNMK just yet, as well as Royal Esports. I mean, they've been performing so well, and they have that Kraber advantage.
We'll see what they can do with it. They've been very good on the snipers so far. I think I heard a crack there, but the longbow is also going. Very effective shot coming out here from Cheetah Boy. We're using this gun to a very high level. And now we have this big trio here. DNMK, Royal Esports, and underrated. Ring is about 1 minute
Royal
before the
Esports
ring
is just in a
6.
tough spot though, eh? I think. Don't you think? Like, just look at what's happening, Camille. It's so bad.
It is so dirty.
Oh, please get them into some cover somewhere, anywhere.
And I don't know how DNMK are gonna leave this. They're gonna get wrapped around there. The fight is breaking out. Are they gonna win it? They bring down one. Cheetah Boy, it is all teams in this area right now looking to fight. Royal Esports already down 2. Alphon by himself. He's gonna get taken out, and it's just gonna be that one-on-one affair. DNMK down a play. They should be able to get the res off, but how hard is underrated gonna pressure them? They're gonna go immediately. Can they win this out, or is DNMK gonna pull the clutch stuff? They're trying. Look at the shot from Alchuli. Tracking was decent, but not decent enough. It's still a 3-on-2. DNMK, how are they gonna do this? Cheetah Boy has to heal up here. Bradley is so low. DNMK might be able to clutch this. Tendo, is your home team gonna do it? They're trying right now. Clutch is on 1 HP. It'd be the most clutch thing ever if he does it, but I don't think it's gonna be the situation. He's really trying for it, but he's gonna get brought down. Underrated claim they first up here, Tendo.
It was about time for underrated to show up. They played this game perfectly. Every rotation that they were on, they read exactly correct, you know? I mean, they ended up being the team on the high ground, and exactly what I said was going to happen, Camille, is DNMK and Royal Esports are eventually just gonna have to. One team has to decide, guys. We need to just play for second place because we ain't gonna get this first place, and that had to be Royal Esports, considering at the top, underrated did so much damage to them. They're like, we just have to get in this building, and we're probably gonna have to take this fight. And luckily, they managed to knock one player down on the side of DNMK, and that just opens it up for underrated to come in and swiftly take out DNMK as the third party to win the game.
At the end of the day, it's about playing the long game. It's about playing that placement game, playing for the win, and Underrated did exactly that. Long-awaited W for Underrated. ZA proving us proud, and we've been waiting for it. I mean, we've seen Underrated take so many fights. We've seen them win out such beautiful rotations, and we just have not seen that W coming through. But here it is, the last day of the grand finals, and your second champions for the day are going to be Underrated ZA. Now, the question is, though, and Tina, I'm going to bring it to you. Who's our MVP going to be? Because my money's on Cheetah Boy.
Yeah, I think Cheetah Boy really did a lot for them in this game. I mean, I caught a glimpse. He was over 2,000 damage in that game already. So I'm sure if it doesn't go to Cheetah Boy, I might have to, start cheating the system.
I think you and I both, because that was insane. The wingman shots coming through. The snipers that we used there towards the end were absolutely crazy. We had some Krabers in there, we had some longbows in there, and ultimately those shotties coming out. But we're going to have to see who's going to be our MVP for Underrated ZA's first win of the grand finales here, and it's just absolutely fantastic to see that they're going to be moving up into those ranks. Obviously, those standings going to be coming through later, but now here's the MVP, Cheetah Boy. It is 2.4k damage and 4 kills. Honestly, man, the damage dealt today is insane. Camille, from your side, how was it? What was your highlight there? I mean, other than the rat busters coming through here from Tendo.
Okay, firstly, you gotta really put some respect on Cheetah Boy's name. I think it was Altruly who was the MVP of the last map, and that was 4 kills tied, but he has 1,100 more damage than the last MVP had. So he really showed up. He put out the beef, But I think my highlight of the map was just watching your top teams battle it out in the early portions of the game, where you just see pure gunfight action. Obviously, it was very tactical here at the end of it. Underrated held their high ground. It was top tier in-game Apex Legends from them, but we had some mega 50-50s throughout the game, where teams had to just really show their skill, and they did in a lot of cases, but at the end of the day, the good Apex Legends was rewarded. DNMK managed to secure themselves the top 2 spot yet again by just playing the quiet game, holding a building for literally the entire map, and Royal Esports, special shout out to them. They played phenomenal. They were kill leaders. They got a top 3 placement. I hope the standings really reflect how well they played in this last game and throughout this whole second day of the finals.
We've consistently had a different group of teams there towards the top, and of course we had that early clash there with Blind Peakers and ATK finding each other, going through the fights, and ultimately leaving 20 alone and afraid. It's just crazy to see how dynamic it is, and it's beautiful as well. I mean, it is the beauty of battle royales. At the end of the day, you never know who's going to be at the top. We still got 2 more matches for you guys today. We still have 2 more chances, 2 more opportunities for teams to potentially shake up the standings once again. Is it going to be Underrated? Is it going to be ATK? Is it going to be your DNMKs, your Blind Peakers? Who is going to be there at the top? Of course, shout out to Outlaws. You're making Dr. Sid proud wherever he is right now. So for those of you watching, please stay with us. Follow the socials. Follow Nodin Gaming on Twitch and YouTube, because the action is just getting started. We will be right back after the short break. Welcome back, guys. It is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. We have just finished match number 2. We have 2 more maps until we crown the grand finale champions. Your top 4, the players that and teams that are going to be taking a share of that $1,000 prize pool. You will know that at the end of today. It's absolutely hype. We've had some insane games. We've had some insane top 5s. We've had insane winner brackets. I mean, we had somehow, some way, underrated ZA. They came all the way around and took a W for today. And obviously that is shifting the standings. We have a lot of questions about where are some of our favorites, where are some of our teams currently sitting on the standings, because we had teams like ATK, Blind Peakers going out very early on, EGSA as well, OGC. They also had some tough times leaving it with the Rat game. Ratbusters, Tendo, I feel like you should make that into an official track, potentially. Either way, though, the standings are the question today. And since I just had to bring it up, I'm going to bring it back to you. What are you thinking today? How are the standings, you think, going to be shifting?
Yeah, I mean, look, underrated coming with that win, and they were farming up quite a few kills. I think we saw, ATK go down pretty early, so I don't think ATK was able to get too many points. So it'll be interesting to see how close underrated is to ATK at that, 4th place position / 5th place. So yeah, I mean, that's really what I'm looking out for. But in terms of the top side, I feel like everything's gonna pretty much stay about the same. I think Blind Peakers will still be third place, EGSA probably still second, and DNMK obviously, they got their second place. They'll probably still be at the top of the table. But hey, I'm interested to see how the table is shaken up.
Camille, from your side, take us through this. Here are the standings after map number 2.
I think your top 3 have to be seriously worried, because DNMK have been playing an absolutely insane level of Apex today, and not in just terms of, execution, gunplay. That hasn't been their priority today, even though they praised a lot for being one of the most aggressive teams. They've been playing a very smart game today, and you see they've got a 1st place finish and now a 2nd place finish. They're well on top of the leaderboards here, and there's just two more matches to play. So Elite Gaming and Blind Peakers are really going to have to show up if they want to take that $400 prize pool at the top. But look at underrated, man. What they dub, they're now in the top 5, not too far off ATK. If ATK have another sloppy game, underrated could see themselves in prize money range as well. And there's a lot of good teams looking to pressure. OGC up in the top 10 of the leaderboard now with those Rat plays. Outlaws NG also in the top 10 of the leaderboards, because again, the Rat boys, 24 points off of placement points, which is crazy. If you look at a team like Punks, has 3 times their kills, even more, but they're sitting behind them because Outlaws knew where to play. Let's just say the pest control came late to the stadium.
Man, oh man, I think Dr. Sid, wherever he's right now, he's going to be elated to find out that Outlaws have made top 10. We have such a big shift, as I mentioned, and it's crazy to see that our 2 first games of today have been vastly different, and that is, the joy of RNG, that is the joy of Battle Royales. We bring it up time and time again, but the fact that we have some of our top teams running into each other that early on, and it's going to be, okay, well, who's going out? It's going to be A, it's going to be B. That is crazy to see, because that just completely shifts the rest of the game, and you really cannot feel safe right now. No matter where you are at on that leaderboard, you cannot feel safe. 2 more maps, still a possibility of 20 placement points going to either team that can be shifting those placements, that can be shifting those standings up absolutely royally. And wow, to start it off with, we are going back to Kings Canyon, the map that everyone knows, the map that everybody loves. And I just want to remind those of you watching at home, if you are watching, send us a pic, snap a photo, take a video, whatever it is, post it on social media, and at us, use the hashtag African Throwdown. We will retweet it and give you guys back some of the love that you have been showing this tournament. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, hosted by Northern Gaming Africa, and I am going to give it over to Tendo Plays and Camille Chicktay to take you through the play-by-play of Kings Canyon. It's absolutely going to be spicy, so stay with us, guys. Take it away.
Thank you, Esmery. We are going into that vital game 3. You always speak about this map, Tendo. When you have a best of 4, this one really is the defining one. Are you going to manage to be able to still be in contention and make a mark going into game 4? Or are you going to fall to the wayside and let the good teams pass you by? What do you think that statement is going to mean to you, these top 4 teams, in your opinion, especially them?
I think this has to be the ATK win. Look, I've been teasing it the whole day, right? And we really, really want to see this ATK win. I think it's going to shake up the table just the right amount to give us an exciting final game where we don't know who might win. me, being a DNMK fanboy, want to see DNMK actually go out early this game. Look, it's like wishing them for bad luck, but I think for an interesting game 4, where we're edge of the seat, not knowing who's going to be the one to win it, we want to see the lobby open up like that. But look, let's not count out a team like underrated. Maybe a back-to-back for them might be very interesting as well to shake things up. We could see a Royal Esports win because look, Royal Esports definitely has it in them. They definitely shown that they have the gun skill. They've got the rotations on their side. Revert Caustic have always, found themselves in a top, 7, top 5, but just haven't been able to clutch out a game. So I feel like if the boys are able to bring things together, they might just be able to do it.
I'm so glad you brought up that point about DNMK because I'm about to be a bit spicy here, stream. And if there's any Fortnite players, they're about to be frothing at the mouth at what I'm about to say because they always fight about these things. But I feel like if you Elite Gaming, Blind Peakers, ATK, even your underrated and you really want to be winning, being crowned champions of the African Throwdown, the way DNMK is playing right now, they are not going to mess up. They are not going to make a mistake. They will run away and win this tournament if something is not done. I feel like if you're one of them, you need to be contesting them from the jump. Land in the same zone and take that fight from minute 1, because if you just leave them to play their game, I don't see them not being crowned champions today. So you really have to do something to shake them up. You really have to contest them, and you have to risk it. Sure, if you Elite Gaming, you ran next to you drop next to DNMK, you could get eliminated from the start. People can laugh at you, and you could fall out of the top 4. But I feel if you're as good as Blind Peakers, if you're as good as EGSA, if you want to be winning, you need to do something drastic because DNMK are already looking unfallible right now. They're not cracking at the seams at all. Top 1 place and top 2 placements, they are looking like the best team in the lobby, honestly, if we're gonna be 100% honest. So there's gonna need to be a big shake-up if you want to contest them for that first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% correct. And, one of those things that is in this game is the kill feed. So I would say that you need to be watching that kill feed. And as soon as you see DNMK in that kill feed, you should be looking to maybe take that fight up and maybe knock them out. You know what I'm talking about?
And we could be seeing it.
Yeah,
look at where ATK and DNMK are dropping. Like, the pings are there. One's going to drop spotted lake, one's going to drop crash sites. But whatever team is, they need to be rotating to contest if you're ATK. That's just my opinion. Sorry to cut you off there, Tendo, but I want to see some hype here.
Yeah, no, of course. We do want to see some hype, and this team is gonna be contesting ATK, if I'm not mistaken, as well, because there is one team just flying over them. So I'm not too sure in what pot they ended up landing. Mayor Addicts have chosen to land. Okay, let's stop talking about Mayor Addicts because we win these. It's looking like they're about to win a fight here. And they've managed to take one player out, but they've got the trade on the opposite side, and it's Mafisi on the receiving end of this one. So it's all up to the Caustic player who's up left alone. But the 2 players have dropped down for some reason and haven't aggressed that fight. So this is the res gonna be the call up there at Mafisi, and they've got the gas as well. The gas is big here on the door because he can't get inside. He's gonna have to kick the door. He tries to slide on in. He does manage to confirm 1 kill at least. He hasn't confirmed the other 2. The 1 player is up on Mafisi and he will be able to stabilize. It's a little bit shaky here. We win these versus Mafisi. The res is coming out. There's a punch as well. Wait, a wingman shot. What is happening? There's smoke, there's gas everywhere. It looks like we win. He's gonna get this one though. The punches are coming through. It's the fight night. It's Mike Tyson out here on the scenes, and we win these. Take the fights.
Oh my word. What is that Mike Tyson line? Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face, and we win these. Really showing that here. Ew, I feel like we don't deserve to see that much hype from the start of a game. We're talking about hype. ATK jumping and looking to pressure a team here. Oh, they're gonna get knocked. One knock on one. The ATK can be able to clutch out this fight. It does look like they're going to do so. Precision stuff from our boys here.
Yeah, and honestly, poor Conquerors, this is just here minding their own business, just trying to get some loot, and ATK just jump with a jump pad right on top of them and just start taking them out. So that's just a little bit unfortunate for them, Conquerors. They haven't been really performing too well. They've been making it into top 10 positions, but they haven't really been a standout team for me. So honestly, a bit of a blow for them, but hopefully they bounce back in that final game and show us what they got. ATK starting off good though.
Underrated popped out here on the Bloodhound, and they're looking for some kills here. The Beast of the Hunt is activated. Who's Brandley gonna find?
It's kind of quiet, but it's also a little bit like There's action happening here and there, but no real big fights are really breaking off. It just seems like they're getting killed. Vyaz has gotten sniped from Ice Cream from who knows where, so that's going to be a little bit shaky for the team of EGSA if they don't get Vyaz up. Underrated is also taking up a lot of heat here. So yeah, Vyaz goes down, the nade coming through. Elite Gaming second place right now, taking a lot of smoke, and this is not what you want to be seeing from your second place team. They've just found themselves in an awkward position now. Not sure if they're going to be able to get the banner of Vyaz as Drip Apex try to move up on this. And Drip Apex, honestly, every time I see Drip, I think to myself, wow, they're doing a really good job right now. And then the next time we see them, they're dying. It's just one of those teams where they just might upset you, and it does seem like they're upsetting EGSA, but it looks like it's Mayo Addicts versus Underrated here. So this is actually a really big fight for the leaderboard. Yo, Mayo Addicts have just not been showing up today, Camille, honestly speaking.
You know, this is just one of their days. I mean, not one of their days, rather.
No, I mean both days though. Like yesterday they really weren't doing much. Today they're not doing much. So honestly, I feel like they just need to go back to the drawing board and come back as that group stage team, that semi-finals team that we did see them being.
100%. And I think like it's also one of these things where I don't really want to judge the team too heavily. Even if they finish 20th place here, I feel like we know what quality this team has. Talking about quality, Punks wiping out a squad here that's doing what they do best, playing mad aggressive Apex. They've been looking good, and yeah, Mayo Addicts, it just hasn't been their day. I'm very unfortunate for them. I was really hyping them up coming to the finals, but that's Apex Legends. Sometimes you're going to be great, and other times you're really going to struggle. And Drip Apex, I've had the same feeling of like you. I feel like they showed really good promise in a lot of games in the group, but here in the finals haven't been able to string up to their potential some games here. But that knock-on Vyaz really showing their quality there, and Outlaws NGs still in it as well. Got some decent shields here. We'll see how they rotate into the zone, and if they manage to find some picks on the way there.
Yeah, and the unluck streak for OGC continues as they've run into blind peekers, and I'm not too sure. I didn't quite see all three members go down, so that fight might still be going up, but it does seem that blind peekers has the advantage in that fight. And yeah, man, OGC, I just think also needs to work on rotates. I just feel like they're rotating in areas where you just find a lot of traffic, and I think that's just probably what's been happening to them on that other side. You know, just needs to maybe change their drop spot a little bit, you know, just a little bit of a game plan shift. But it also looks like EGSA were able to get the banner of Vyaz, and we'll bring him back in this affair. So our second place team isn't just out for the count yet. They'll be able to regroup and reloot and get ready to move forward in this next round.
Yeah, it's very important that they did that. This is the third game of our finals. We only have 2 maps left, so this is a very critical one. If they want to compete for the title, they can't deal with 2 members at this stage in the tournament. And of course, it looks like he's taking a fight here. Things are coming out in the live armor, gonna get put down a little bit. CRC is a team that I would favor Revert Caustic in, but we have seen crazier things in the final so far.
Yeah, we definitely have seen crazier things. They've got the high ground advantage here, which is really good. They've also expanded the utility of the dome, so they know that this team doesn't have much cover to work with, especially on this side of the map where there is a lot of open ground. But on the opposite end is DNMK Tenchi with the Spitfire doing so much damage. So now Red Caustic needs to be really careful about this fight, and you can just see they're not going down, they're waiting because they know on that opposite end just might be trouble. CRC is still up though, they're still surviving. They need to get out of this situation. They're stuck in a sandwich right now, and it's not looking good. It's looking like Caramel's trying to take a couple of people out here. The charge rifle shots coming through. It does seem DNMK steals their kills though, which is a little bit unfortunate considering Revert Caustic started that fight.
And this was my worry for EG, for Blind Peakers, for ATK. If you just let DNMK do what they want to do, I'm telling you guys on stream now, they're going to win this thing. They're going to be top 3 again here if there's nothing drastic done. They're going to be top 3 in this game, and who knows what happens in game 4. But they're looking real good right now. Of course, Reverse Caustic doesn't want to be the team that tussles with them because they're not fighting for that first spot. They're fighting for 3rd or 4th spot. So they can't take a chance here and risk a bad placement trying to fight into DNMK at this point in the zone and this point on the map. It is very tense, but DNMK gotta be feeling confident right now. All things going according to plan, and ATK gonna find some stragglers here at the edge of the zone. And
I think on the opposite end is Underrated, because one of the members was knocked by an Underrated member on the side of LTT. So yeah, there's Cheetah Boy going down. So it's Fortune and Bradley. It's a zone fight once again. I just feel like ATK is always in these zone fights, and I don't know why they're just not playing rotation. kind of interesting. EGSA is in the same area, or what is
Oh
happening?
my
Yeah,
word.
there's so many teams in this area fighting right now. EGSA with the ref push. EGSA is in a good position because now they're in front of all these teams. It looks like Underrated is backing off though, and they don't want to be involved in this fight. They might just have to play this one as a duo. Oh, ATK is in a really tough spot to get out of this one, Camille. I don't know what is happening with ATK's decision making today. It's just not been on point, I think.
And Elite Gaming, they're smelling blood. They want to wipe out their rivals here. Will do them a good favor going into the top 3, securing that position. And just asserting dominance on the lobby by eliminating ATK, it always feels good. But ATK, we'll see how they rotate out of this. They got a long way to track, and at the edge of the zone, they could be running into trouble when they get there. That's assuming Elite Gaming aren't the ones to find them, though.
Yeah, and oh man, there's so many teams that are in zone right now that are trying to rotate in. So, and the thing about coming from that east side of the map going towards the west side is there's so many chokeholds down the center that it just might be a little bit sticky. But talking about sticky situations, it seems like Punks is in a fight here. The hemlock shots from Tremble doing a lot of damage, managing to crack one of the members on the opposite end. It does look like Outlaws is on the receiving end of this fight, but they have got that rev push. They are gonna hunt down the team, and Punks is doing well to just, you know, back off, get a little bit of space for them to work with, get some cover to work with, and that's a really good way to counter rev pushes is by getting space, you know, because after a while, obviously the depth protection wears off, and then that team is pretty much just left vulnerable. But Outlaws not doing much from that. It does buy them a little bit of time to reset at least and focus on their rotation.
Blind Peekers picking up some big kills in the lobby here. Adding to the kill count, gaining those points. Again, this is a team who wants to be competing for that #1 spot, so it's very important how much kills they get, where they get to place, and who they kill, most importantly. Take out the rivals. This is where placement really matters. Outlaws NG in trouble here. Troy from Elite Esports, sorry, Royal Esports rather, putting him under pressure.
Yeah, and they just caught out in an awkward position here. Royal Esports not real any cover to work with. As I mean, Outlaws caught in an awkward position as Royal Esports moves up onto them. 2 members down already. It's gonna be tough for the bottom player to try survive in this one. And yeah, now we're gonna see a Royal Esports versus Punk situation here. So these are 2 very evenly matched teams, I must say. Punks though looking to rotate out of this fight, not really trying to fight it. Good position from them, and this just might be Outlaws out for the count, so we won't be seeing Outlaws in our top 10.
And this Punks versus Royal fight could be really hype. Like you said, they're looking like they want to tuck tail and run, but they do have R301s. I think there's a Spitfire on one of the players for Royal, so they do have that long range damage. But Royal Esports keeping up their standard of play from the last game. They got that top 3 finish, and they're looking to do something similar here in map number 3 as well. Not being afraid, they're feeling confident.
Oh no, ATK is here and Punks is in the same area, and one thing is when Punks goes up against ATK, it's always ATK on top, but it does look like Punks was able to rotate a little bit faster here, so they won't be able to spot them out just yet. ATK have managed to get into the zone quite well though, after being in that position we saw them in, so kudos to them. Oh, there is somebody on the opposite end there that they do spot out. I wonder who just might be rotating there on that zipline. It does seem like it's actually a full team that's rotating, and the beam's on the side there. Woo! It's actually AGSA, and this is exactly what is going to happen after all those teams are on that side. And now ATK sends blood. They've got the knock. They know they can play this one well. They're going to run up on this one and just try and choke EGSA out. They're stuck in the building. Vias can't even get this battery off in time as Chambi runs up in and sprays him down. The Spitfire shots here. It's just Margin left, the Octane player. All he can do is hope and pray and run and throw a jump pad and try to get out of this fight.
Oh man, you know, it was looking a bit shaky from ATK earlier. It looked like EGSA was going to be the team to find them, hunt them out, but the payback is there. ATK, it was calculated. They knew what they were doing and they made it pay off. Recovered the game very nicely, and they've taken out one of their rivals here at the top spot. EGSA in a very rough position. Margin, the sole survivor. Let's see how much he can run it out. But is he going to be punished? Revert Caustic still in it. Looks like Daddy Cool just went down. Cloudy going to put him under pressure there.
This is a really unfortunate situation for Red Coaster because now they're split because Cinder's gone one direction, Caramel the other direction. Daddy Cool is knocked out. So, yeah, not a really good game 3 coming from Red Coaster, especially after they had all that positioning on their side. Blind Peekers making their way in towards this zone as well. And listen, Camille, where's DNMK? They're hiding. They're playing the zone. Where are they? They're nowhere in their kill feed. Actually, I'm lying. It seems like they're taking up 69 Gaming as we see Clutch getting a couple of kills down there And now look, Caramel's the only member left on Red Caustic. So now the red game for Caramel has to be strong.
You know what DNMK remind me of is if I think about Bayern Munich last year in the Champions League, the way they just, it was so clinical, so much precision. They were never sweating. They just dismantled teams game after game after game. Nobody could disrupt their game plan, and that's what DNMK is looking like today. They're playing the game on another level. Nobody's pressuring them. They're getting to rotate wherever they want to. They're getting the picks whenever they want to. They're never under pressure. They're never in danger. They all are going according to plan. And Drip Epic, they're still in it. They're finally going to have their good showing. It looks like Sir Alchemy is going to go down. But can his team come here to cover them? Punk's actually the team going to be the one pressuring them. So they're going back to their original style of pressuring, playing fast-paced Apex, and getting them kills. Is it going to be successful though, Tendo plays?
And it's actually funny that these Rampart Wars are actually doing so much to buy time for Drip Apex. You wouldn't really count Rampart as one of those competitive legends, but now look, DNMK have snuffed out this fight and are yet to third party, and Punks, every time they take a fight, it's always a team like ATK or DNMK. Oh, whoa, 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 what is happening on the other side? No, ATK just take out Caramel. I thought they might have been involved in this fight, but DNMK swooping in here. The massive shots from Tenchi are absolutely huge. It has bought Punks a little bit of time maybe to reset and regroup. Hopefully they will be able to, but no, Tenchi knows exactly where Punks is, and Punks isn't going to get any time to breathe. Tenchi's looking, I don't think Tenchi's actually got them run onto his left-hand side. He's just looking forward, thinking they've run forward. But now look, Punks is able to just reset and buy themselves just a tiny little bit of time to breathe.
Yeah, good gameplay from them because they got to get themselves some placement points as well. They are in the top 7 already. Ratting is a very real thing. Their kill count has been very high, but in placements they usually struggle. So maybe they can switch the tactics up a bit today. And Blind Peaker's in a decent position. They might actually find Margin here, who's playing the Rat-a-tat game in a very awkward position. There's no way Blind Peakers don't find it, but they don't really want to give away their position in a weird place as well. Because, you know, third party is always a thing, but I don't think there's too many people on this side of the map, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it's such an open-ended zone as well. So finding cover in this next zone is going to be very, very crucial for this team. And hopefully Margin is able to sneak past Blind Peakers without them seeing him. And here he goes. Honestly, I think, you know, Pink Panther theme is needed for this creep and crawl. Da-da-da-dum. And there he goes running off. But yeah, things are calming down as teams are starting to move into this next zone of zone 4. ATK still in this one as well, in a really good position to kind of gatekeep Blind Peakers from the spot here.
See how this fight works out for them, but once again I just have to say DNMK gonna be the team celebrating. There's the ATK and Blind Peakers fighting is exactly what they want to see. Their main rivals taking each other out. 20 taking a lot of damage. They're gonna have to pop the battery. I wonder if these two teams are gonna hard commit. It would be a very gutsy play from both teams, and we see Altrudy taking out one of the members of Punk, so finding the stragglers yet again. DNMK all going according to plan for them, and ATK gonna bring down Aquatic. This is their chance to go. Can they bring down the Blind Peakers? Thomas Sheldon and the boys gonna be in trouble. The fight is there. Chambi doing what he does best and absolutely shredding people. He's going to go down himself though, so it's going to be quite a tense fight. Oh, why so? Can he do it? Can he clutch it out? The shots are there. Is it going to be good enough? It should be, but he's taking a lot of damage. Gutbuster's still alive. He's got the HP advantage. Did he bring him down?
He did. ATK's
Oh
out.
no.
ATK just bit up too much, man. I mean, Chambi, yeah, the play was to jump on, but now Blind Peakers goes down to Punks, and Punks have come through. Calder ratted his way all the way to this side of the map to just come in third party. The biggest rivals in this lobby. That fight between ATK and Blind Peakers. I mean, yeah, Chambi, make the play. You gotta make sure they don't get that res in that Gibby Dome because it's such a good rest to get off, but he just bites too much, man. And then he goes down, and then he tries to get assistance from Dust. Dust goes down, and now it's just the Gibraltar player Waiso trying to clutch things up, but he just can't do anything at that point, you know. The Mastiff isn't hitting him hard enough. Gutbuster manages to clutch him out, but then yeah, Calder swoops in to get that final kill. So now this is just open for DNMK, you know. Like at this point, it's DNMK's win, I think.
It's every single time. It seems like a similar situation. They won't have to play up against Royal Esports here in the late game, for the end game rather, yet again. So let's see if Royal Esports can show up. They got top 3 last time. They're already in the top 4. Maybe they'll be competing for the top 2 spot, and maybe they can put a spanner in the DNMK works. They got high ground.
Yeah, it's a tough position where DNMK is because they're gonna have to rotate in front of Royal Esports. And look, I'm sure Royal Esports is gonna just have to be smart here. You need to coordinate these shots and try and knock each player out at a time, you know. And yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen here as they take shots. Is DNMK gonna be fine here? And this is what happens when you don't have a Wraith player, right? Because if you had a Wraith player instead of this Octane, you're able to make a portal and get out of the situation. So now they have to rotate in front of Royal Esports.
Royal Esports in a very good position. They're just gonna come down to execution here at the end of the day. They're holding the stairwell. Great. DNMK can't go through any door. Alpha on an absolute beast with the R301 right now. He's honed in, he's zoned in. Let's see what the DNMK, the lobby leader, is planning to do here. Lots of damage coming out there, throwing out the Arcstar as well. Royal Esports Cloudy gonna have to heal back up. Alpha taking a lot of damage as well. DNMK starting to come ahead in these exchanges now.
Yeah, and it actually looks like they were trying to be a little bit aggressive here, DNMK, but I don't know how well that worked out for them because they've taken up a lot of damage. They're gonna have to yield. Defensive bombardment has been dropped as well. The zone's about to come in as well, but it looks like Royal Esports is gonna take the fight against DNMK, and they know exactly who it is. But now Troy has fallen. The massive shots from Alpha are actually going in kind of big here for the team, but to what avail as DNMK just show why they're one of the best teams here with the gun skill. But Artrelli goes down. The PK shots aren't going to connect too well. Alfron is trying his best as the solo player. He jumps into the zone. Hopefully he doesn't go down to the zone. DNMK now gonna have to rotate. They're gonna have to leave the player behind. Alfron goes down to clutch, and yes, DNMK managed to make it out of that. Bradley. Oh wait, what is happening? It's just DNMK versus underrated. It's just Bradley, the solo player here. Is he gonna be able to clutch it up against DNMK? At this point, who knows? They're coming out of a fight. They're in shambles almost, DNMK. Bradley needs to make a play at this point before they heal up, and it's just a stalemate across this wall here. But I'm sure at this point, DNMK know that they can just run over this, but Bradley is doing a lot of damage. Here comes Tenchi with the master shots, and DNMK are your champions.
Woo! What a game! What a series! DNMK playing so brave. Credit to Royal Esports. They jumped in and they're trying to take that fight, but DNMK showing why they're the best team in the lobby and one of the best teams on the continent. Maybe after this, the game 4 Tendo crowned the best team on the continent.
Yo, man, I mean, look, kudos to Royal Esports. They knew they had to take that fight, you know, and they had a little bit of an advantage going in there, but DNMK, they're just so good at taking fights as a 3v3. There's just nothing you can do against them when they're hitting their shots, especially. And they just end up going down. Not too sure what happened to underrated on the opposite end. Bradley just tries to swoop in. Maybe if he had gotten there a little bit faster, he maybe could have won that out. But yeah, man, DNMK just showing why they're one of the best on the African continent.
That was crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. That was just absolute chaos.
It was crazy.
It's like, is it Royal Esports winning this? Is it DNMK winning this? Oh no, there's underrated as well. Great. I mean, what? I was looking there. We had 2 squads and 3 players, and I was like, no, don't tell me. We've got a duo of DNMK that's on like basically 2 HP versus a solo rat that might be coming in at the perfect time. But it's going to be DNMK to take the W. The third W of the day goes to them. Absolutely well played. I mean, to recover from that sort of a situation, Tendo, I think you said it perfectly. They were in shambles, and then they had to immediately go into a fight for the W, making it out. Oh, those Mastiff shots. All I'm going to say is the Mastiff, just beautiful. Anyway, moving on now. DNMK, that is the question on my mind, is who's going to be your MVP for today? The third MVP of the day. Tendo, what you thinking?
Yo, man, I feel like I want to give it to Tenchi this game. I feel like the glimpses we show of him, he was just putting in a lot of work for the team. And yeah, man, I think those master shots from Tenchi, if you see Tenchi with a master, you better just run, honestly.
Ooh, it's gonna be, here it comes. It's gonna be 20 from Blind Peekers, dealing the most damage, 1.3 and 3 kills. And I mean, we've spoken about this before. You know, we've had in previous games, like in our semi-finals and our group stages especially, your MVP players were players, you know, dealing, 8 kills, 2k damage, maybe even 3k damage, going absolutely crazy. And it just goes to show how different a lot of the teams have been playing for the finals. They've been playing the points game, and as they should, because that's what's going to grant you a share of that prize pool at the end of the day. That's going to how be how you get those bragging rights. But man, oh man, it's crazy to see how different this game has been turning out. I keep saying it. I'm absolutely in shambles myself. I can't believe what we're witnessing. But man, oh man, Camille, from your side, standout moment, go.
For me, it's not about a standout moment. It's about the overall year, because I think DNMK, what's impressive for me is not that they won this clutch gunfight here at the end, right? This is what we know they can do. These things can be 50-50. But the way they're playing to put themselves in that position, even if they had lost that Esmery, that's a top 3 finish already. They points that they're racking up on the leaderboard is massive. Every game tactically, they're way ahead of the curve. ATK and Blind Peakers, they fighting in the middle of nowhere, catching each other at a bad time. But that hasn't happened to DNMK today. They've been really one step ahead. The rest of the field is playing checkers and they playing Korean StarCraft out here.
Woo, we're just starting on them. But that is going to be it for our third map. My goodness gracious. We've got Olympus next. For those of you watching, remember to follow Northern Gaming Africa on all their socials. Follow their Twitch. Follow their YouTube. I think our Twitch is very close to 500 followers. So please help us out there. And remember, if you are watching at home, remember to tag us on your pictures or your videos on social media so we can retweet and give you guys some love as well. This is the Northern Gaming Africa Throwdown Apex Legends, absolutely insane. We will be right back after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. We are on to the last map of today, your grand finale. Your champions will be crowned shortly. We have one more map on Olympus to go before we know exactly who's going to be taking their share of that $1,000 prize pool. Now, we've just had a bit of an upset. We've had DNMK take a second win of the day. Second map in a row as well. Well, almost in a row. But ultimately, the standings are looking a little bit weird, a little bit strange. We've got a couple of teams showing up in places where they shouldn't, and we've got a couple of teams that we are expecting to be at the top. DNMK with 177 points. Tendo, take me through this, man. Oh man.
I mean, yeah, man. Look, DNMK have pretty much run away with the day over here. And I mean, for good reason. I mean, you can't even fault them in the way they're playing. They're playing positioning. They're just playing correct rotates. They're holding their ground. They're winning their gunfights. They haven't even racked up that many kills today, just to show how they're playing this one tactically. EGSA have done well today, but I feel like the decision making has been a little bit off compared to how they were playing yesterday. Blind Peakers were starting off strong, but yeah, it's kind of dipping, but they've done well. And I mean, look, third place is pretty much almost theirs at this point. They could take that second place, so it's going to be one of those games where it's a second place game here between Blind Peakers and EGSA. ATK sitting at fourth place. Yeah, man, it's been up and down for ATK, but you can't take away from them, man. They are definitely one of the best teams in this, African continent. They just been having a rough one, but it's gonna be spicy because underrated with 79 points is really, really, really close to ATK. So if ATK doesn't do well this game, it just might be underrated walking away with that fourth place prize.
Ooh, we're gonna be spicy. And Outlaws, they're close to the 10th place points. You know, they might be running away with the Dr. Sid prize of their own if they can make that top 10. But looking at it now, I still feel like, other than DNMK, which I agree with you, I feel like they've just run away with it at this point. I think the rest of the teams have to be sweating a little bit. You know, they're still in contention to be dropped from their spots. They're still in contention to actually not be in the favorable, top four where they can actually take a share of that prize pool. So a lot of these teams really need to be putting in the work right now. And a lot of the teams, not only with placements, but with kill points as well, which is weird to me to see how aggressive our aggressive teams have actually, played the passive game. They're just playing for the points. They're playing for the placements, and they're keeping to their own devices, which is interesting to see. But going into it now, we are going back to Olympus. Now, Camille, take me through this. How are you feeling about Olympus, man?
So Olympus does give teams a lot of X factor here because as we see, wild things have happened in the past. ATK dropping early in the one game. Blind Peakers was the team fighting them, so two top teams got wiped out. It was actually two maps in a row we had the situation where ATK and Blind Peakers, our third and fourth teams, running into each other and fighting each other really early in the game. So Olympus does make for a very exciting map from a spectator's point of view in that case, but a very challenging map for a lot of teams playing here because, again, like Tendo says, this map is very big. To make rotations can be a bit difficult at times through a lot of open fields and such, but DNMK managed to play this map very tactically last time. They sat in the building for literally the whole game, had tea, had coffee, ate their breakfast and lunch there, and then managed to clutch out a win. So, crazy things can happen as well. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the final games. I'm caught in two minds here because on one hand I really want to hype up the final game, Ismarie, but on the other hand I'm so sad the African Throwdown is ending. Heart's gonna break out here. What am I gonna do on my weekends now?
Yeah, man, we started this on the 26th of March and all of these games have culminated to this point. In fact, we will know who your African Throwdown champions will be at the end of this game, so please stay with us and remember to follow the Northern Gaming Africa socials, all of their YouTubes, Twitches, Facebook pages, etc., and keep up to date with everything that's going on. Guys, this is the finals. This is the last map of the African Throwdown. I want to see all of you guys hyped in chat because we need to know who our champions are going to be. I'm going to leave it up to Tendo and Camille to keep you guys up to date with what's happening in the game. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be an absolute cracker of our last map today. So please stay with us, guys. Take it away.
The penultimate moment for a lot of these squads, and I'm really looking at the teams of underrated here who have a chance to get into that money. And I mean, Blind Peakers and EGSA are gonna have to keep a tight competition because if any of them slip up and they let the other overtake them, they might just end up in that second spot. So it's gonna be a really, really tight game. We might see a lot of action. I don't want to spoil it. We don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe teams are gonna play a lot slower, but there's one thing to not take away from Camille. It's DNMK's performance today, honestly.
Best team on the field. There's no denying it. They've more or less clinch victory. I like to think it's 57 points or 50-point advantage. That would mean that they have to go out at the start and another team would have to finish first with 30 kills. Possible, but definitely not probable.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit too much to ask for. So, I mean, look, we're looking for just like a DNMK chill game here. I mean, look, if they win the game out, I mean, they'll end it off in fashion, but it wouldn't be too bad to see them go out a little bit early and just like be the spectators for a change, you know?
Knowing DNMK, if they feel like they've already won this, you know what they're going to do in this lobby. They're going to go ham. They're going to just play super aggressive. They're going to just go and just play like straight up, Terminator stuff. But at the same time, the two teams I'm really looking forward to see perform here is our last two teams in our second and third place in the last map. Underrated and Royal Esports really have showed up on day number 2 of the finals. They already have been playing consistent, high placements, getting a lot of kills. They've played great Apex. They've looked like the second and third best team on this day at least. So hopefully that performance can carry over towards the final game. And it looks like ATK dropping with only one player here at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. We actually caught a wind that ATK has to compete in a different tournament. So the two of their players there are trying to lock things down in their first game 1. So it's going to have to be a big game from Wiseau here to make sure they stay in that top 4, because if they let Underrated overtake them, Underrated needs what? 11 points right now. So if they can get 11 kills and come a third place without Wiseau doing anything, it's going to be a little bit shaky here for them. But yeah, I mean, in ATK, it's been a rough one, man, in these finals. They were doing so well in the group stages, the semi-finals, but sometimes, I don't want to say pressure gets to you. I want to just say your game plan doesn't work out how you want it to sometimes, you know, and I think that's just what happened to ATK here.
Yeah, I think especially in tournaments like this, especially in BR games, you can't judge too much people's skill level and performance from 1 or 2 days of gameplay. Like you look at Mayo Addicts, for example, sure, yes, both yesterday and today they've had a rough time, but I still rate them as one of the best teams in SA. They've had some really quality games, but just not here today in the finals. ATK, the same thing. They look unbeatable, near untouchable in group stages and such, but in the finals, they just haven't had that same level of performance. This is what it is. Yeah. The day really matters in Apex Legends.
The day does really matter, and today is the day for Revert Caustic to turn the tables here and get some points on the board as they're taking up a fight against Mafisi, and they seem to be doing a lot of damage. They've already taken down one of the members here, but they still have to go through 2 members, and the 2 members of Mafisi seem to be putting a little bit of pressure onto them, but it's no use as Caramel Gamer knocks them out there with the Spitfire doing so much work. So now, Revert Caustic, I'm not too sure, Camille, where are they sitting just behind Underrated? Are they like trying to play for the 4th place here to get some money, or are they just trying to, you know, put themselves at maybe a 5th place position here?
Listen. Knowing my boy Caramel, he's about putting on the show. One of the most entertaining streamers out there. And I feel like they're going to show up, right? You know, the narrative, the dream narrative could be the streamer team finally catching their dub in the last game of the tournament. And talking about narratives, it looks like OGC caught in a rough position. Like you say, always landing into the top team, this time with Underrated, and they're going to be under pressure. Sad times for them, because it's going to be the last game with this lineup. After this, they will be disbanding. So unfortunately, they don't get to go out with that last hurrah unless Denizen does something crazy out here.
Yeah, man. And just like punks, they just always find themselves fighting these top teams. But yo, Underrated is performing and they're doing well, considering that ATK is in this one as a solo. I don't think Wiseau is going to be looking to get these kills. So in terms of points, I feel like he's only going to be racking up placements. So as long as Underrated stay on, I want to say, a little bit on the aggressive side and try fish as many kills as they can, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in that 4th place position at the end of this game. But yeah, Denny just gonna have to rotate out, gonna have to leave his 2 members behind for the final time here. DNMK here in Bonsai Plaza, chilling things out. And look, man, you said maybe they're going to be crazy, they're going to be running at everybody, but no, they know they need to win this one. They need to represent their continent properly, and they're playing this game out properly, and they're taking their time, getting their loot, plotting their rotations. Mayo Addicts on the opposite end here at the Rift.
Yeah, once again, it's been a very comfortable place for them to play here in Olympus, but again, they have not had a single lobby in these 2 final days that really went their way. They've been really struggling so far. One more game left to play. Would like to see them show their mettle out here, but at this point, it's very hard to bank on it, seeing how the last 7 games of the final has gone.
Yeah, it definitely is hard to bank on it. And 69 Gaming is going to find Waiso up there by himself. So I wonder what's going to happen there. But on the opposite end, it does seem a rev push from EGSA is going out. So now Waiso is probably here by himself. But as a solo player in that kind of situation, you just see a team like that, you have to run away. And I'm sure Waiso has managed to run away. But it does look like Drip Apex is taking a little bit of smoke here by EGSA. And EGSA have done so well. They've got the rev push in. They've got the high ground to win this fight out. So they'll be able to rack up these kill points. And this is good for EGSA because they're in a race against Blind Peakers, isn't it? You know, for the second spot. So if they don't rack up the kills, if they don't get their placement points, they might just fall short in this game. And Mayo Addicts, man, it just seems like this is what's been happening to them. The receiving end, and on the opposite end, it seems like Punks is finally getting a little bit of revenge, but not without Cooper doing a little bit of damage from far and managing to break some armor. We do see the MK actually in the kill feed there as he manages to take out the Cloudy Altrilli. So there's a lot of fights breaking out in the area here.
Man is doing a good job to survive this 2v3 fight, but oh, as I say that, they're about to go down. Punk's taking another big victory. We know the skill this team has in taking these engagements, in fighting especially. That's where they thrive, and Mayo Addicts Cooper gonna stuck his tail and run. 1 versus 3, man against the world. I'm gonna be betting on the world here, but we've seen crazier things in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, look, Punks isn't giving him anything. You're playing different levels. They're running him down, and they won these points. And I'm sure Punks wants to make sure they finish in that top 10 because they've been having a bit of a rough day considering some of their rotates. But yeah, they managed to take Mayo Addicts out. Punks putting some kills on the board. And hey, look at that. Tremble's even kill leader. So they're doing some work in here. Maybe we see a Punks win on Olympus. You know, remember in the semi-finals where Punks was just almost able to clutch it up against Elite Wannabes. Maybe this is their game. Maybe this is them getting their revenge story.
That would be a great storyline to see. I don't think they've underperformed in the finals. They've had some rough times. They've lost a lot of fights against the big teams, but we know the skill this team has. I've been backing them. I've been a fan of them throughout the tournament because, again, they are one of the more aggressive teams. They're really not scared to go and fight. The Colder and Tremble especially, they played 2 people in the semis and they managed to clutch up some top tier wins out there. Or not wins rather, but very high placements, getting a lot of kills. Just 2 players in a semi-finals, which is also a lot of very good teams being there. So they showed their skill. Margin looks to be in trouble.
EGSA man down, trying to get the res. Defensive bombardment buying them a tiny little bit of time to some extent, but it does look like Cinder Live is up at the top here, as well as the rest of Revert Caustic, and they are sensing blood. They want to run out this team here, and Revert Caustic want to finish in top 5. They want to walk away and show that streamers can be competitive as well, but EGSA have managed to reset. Bias takes a lot of damage. He has to dip into some cover here. He's going to try push some shots back in. Majin hasn't quite healed up quite yet, but he's going to be popping up bat and he will get up to standard here. So now Revert Caustic versus EGSA. If EGSA go down in this one, it's going to be a little bit scary for them because Blind Peakers is still in this affair, and Blind Peakers just might be able to get enough points to overtake EGSA.
It's going to be very close. Just 7 points separating our second and third place teams. They're very big difference in Pride Money as well. And we see DNMK getting caught here. Bradley going to bring down Tenshi. Oh, underrated. Really going to be rated after this tournament, if you ask me. Tendo plays.
Nah, definitely they will be rated. And I mean, look, there's so many teams that have been performing here, and we're always shouting this out on Twitter and over the broadcast. They're all unsigned squads, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at teams like Bravado. How come we don't have a team here in this Apex Throwdown, guys? Like, look, DNMK is actually on the back foot there, and things are not looking so good for our top team. It's all up to Altrilli, who's trying to get the res here in the zone onto Clutch, as Tenchi's been taken out, and Underrated have done some work onto them here. It looks like EGSA is also pulled back this fight just a tiny little bit as they're gaining some ground onto Revert Caustic. They've got the rep push as well, so they're gonna just look to get as much ground as they can. And Daddy Cool goes down, unfortunately. So now it's just Cinder Live and Caramel Gamer. We have to try to clutch this fight out. Cinder goes down. It's all up to Caramel Gamer, the man, the myth himself. Is he gonna be able to clutch this one out for the streamers? I don't think so. He's gonna have to just run away and try to play some placement points here.
Come on, Caramel. Do it for the stream. Be the John Wick. Give us a clip to go on the timeline, man. We're ready for it. Oh, man. But against Elite Gaming, it ain't an easy task. These guys are so precise, so clinical. One of the best teams in Apex SA and could be the second best team here in the African Throwdown by the end of the day, depending on how things go. They've been very aggressive. They've been getting a lot of kills. They should have the advantage over Blind Peakers in the kill feed at least, but we'll see how the placement game goes though. And Caramel Gaming doing a lot of damage there up the zipline.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Caramel having to ride it out for as long as he can. And look, Underrated is picking up quite a few points, which is really good. So they're going to be moving, you know, hopefully towards the top side. Oh, DNMK's back! They've got the res,
Whoa.
they're getting the loot, they're in zone though. They will have to make a rotate. I'm not too sure where Underrated is. It just seems like Underrated was gonna take that one kill point and just call it a day, especially since they know that DNMK, regardless of if one player is down, is still a formidable force to go up against. And Underrated need to be so careful that they need to watch their back at this point, because DNMK is gonna come for them. But I'm sure they've hit the res, so they know that DNMK is probably on their trail, so they're gonna just try to rotate as fast as they can. But yeah, man, I mean, DNMK, this time the zone isn't in their favor compared to that last game, so they are gonna have to walk into a couple of fights here and there. On the opposite side, Hydrophonics, we see Blind Peakers who are trying to fight for the second position. It doesn't seem like kills are on the board just yet, so they really need to try to get as many kill points as they can. And the team they're looking to get into is the team of Outlaws.
Let's go Outlaws NG. Do it for West Africa. Do it for Dr. Sid. You are playing up against the Titans of Blind Peakers, the Shelby boys, the biggest, baddest gangsters in Birmingham. Let's see how you can do it. And Peakers surrounding them around this building. It's going to be a big fight breaking out here.
That is such a smart ulti right there from 20, because obviously it breaks the door, so there's nowhere for them to hide at that point, and it's also sucking them in. So they just clean them up so easy peasy. Yeah, they're getting points on the board, so kudos to Blind Peakers for taking this fight on the edge of the zone as well. No one should be looking to third party them, so you can just see these teams that are in the top, you know, they're really playing this smart. They're not trying to get themselves into awkward positions. They're just trying to clean up as many, you know, free kill points as they can and make their rotates into the zone.
So great place for Blind Peakers, still keeping themselves in a very competitive spot, getting themselves some kill points as well. Lobby building up to be quite an epic here at the end, and most importantly, DNMK are still in it. And I really feel like they, as well as they played, gonna want to be ending this lobby with a bang. So we're gonna have to watch out for them in the end game. They're gonna find the pick off here on the last straggler from Outlaws. Xander Gamer gonna get brought down. So we could say DNMK and Blind Peakers tussle here. Would be very interesting. We saw Blind Peakers lose a fight here yesterday, I believe, in this area as well against ATK, or did they win it? I don't know. It's been 7 games so far. My memory is starting to blur. But Vias taking a fight here. He's ready to go, throwing out a couple of grenades.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward position where EGSA is in here, and they gotta be careful. That ulti is in such a good spot. They got nowhere to run, and that's gonna be Calder's ulti from the opposite side of Punks. So now Punks is looking to gatekeep the team of EGSA from this position. They've got the high ground to their advantage, and we'll see how well they can use it. But we do know EGSA, regardless of what position they're in, they can win fights. They can make a play here. Calder takes a lot of damage. He doesn't need to give this team too much, because as soon as a knock is on the side of Punks, EGSA will try their best to get up into their faces. I don't think Death Totem is up just yet on the side of... Oh, it is! So they're just waiting for the opportunity to go in to try and take this fight, but it's a bit of a stalemate as they exchange shots from across this location.
And yes, EGSA just showing the experience here, their composure. They were in a rough position, like you said, backdoor fighting up against a team on the high ground, but they've been getting the better of these exchanges. A lot of heals gonna have to come out here from the Punks boys. And we'll see the Death Totem and Octane jump pad gonna be available, so we could see some cheeky plays coming out from EGSA. And 69 Gaming caught in a very awkward position here at the edge of the zone. Might just stick out to it, or they might have to make a Great Escape, but I think Great Escape is overselling it, you know, more like a sad stroll back into zone.
Yeah, and I think EGSA have also just realized that there's no point in going up that way. We're just costing ourselves the game. They're gonna try to rotate, which is still very much out in the open. And if Punks is able to, you know, coordinate a couple of shots, they just might be able to get a kill. They do have that jump pad as well on the side of Tremble. So if they want to get aggressive onto a knock here, it will be in their favor to some degree. But it just seems that EGSA is gonna be able to get this rotate out for free.
The big bad streamer, Caramel Gamer, is still in it. I see him getting a kill there on the feet, so still repping the streamer team, keeping the dream alive. Hopefully rat himself into a top 5 finish, maybe even better. And we see the big fight finally breaking out. Alchuli brings down 20, so the DNMK versus Blind Peaker battle is about to be breaking down, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate if they're not able to turn the tables. But it's DNMK, underrated, and Blind Figures in the same area as well, because the zone is obviously pulling towards this way, and this is a zone I have not quite seen that ends towards Elysium, and Tenchi takes out Cheetah Boy. So now underrated are under some pressure here, as DNMK is going to move up on this one. The team has to try and regroup and do as much as they can, but they're going to have to just get out and get an exit play, but they're in the air, and Tenchi is a Kovacs god out here, beaming him out, but not just enough to get a knock onto Bradley. They're going to be able to get away for as long as they can, but that has to be Punks on the opposite end, and it is Falco. He manages to take down one of the members, and underrated now, the storyline is just not in their favor. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to clutch up the money positions in this raid, as Punks is on the opposite end here, and they're just in a bit of a sandwich.
On the flip side, though, Punks managed to get their redemption game. Probably going to get one of the best finishes of the tournament, or the finals rather, so far here in the final game. So really rising to the occasion, and hopefully they can take it all the way. In a very good position right now, but it is hyped up. 8 squads still left, 17 players, and DNMK going to go flash, gets a couple of good shots to the crutch. He's there, and he gets the down! Oh, man! Somebody nerf this, man.
Somebody needs to nerf clutch, because that wingman don't miss, honestly. But look, he's taking a lot of damage. He's gonna have to hit the Q to back off. So Falco and Triple now have to fight against DNMK, and they know exactly who their opponent is. He's trying to hold this doorway and deal as much damage as he can, but DNMK, they don't give a damn. They're gonna try and run in here. Trilly with them even 8 shots, doing a little bit of damage, pulls out the Ultra 1. Tenchi jumps on inside here. They're even gonna go for the finish in front of their faces here. Tremble, the only player left, not sure where he is. He's hightailing it, the Octane player. He's like, nope, no, please let that not be Caramel in the corner there. Please. I hope it's not. The even 8 shots from Tremble. He manages to take down Bradley. It's actually Bradley who goes down, so that's underrated's game done and dusted as well.
Oh man, what a game so far. Clutch showing us his mettle. This is him at his best. When he's playing Wraith, when he can jumping and diving so aggressively, he's just a sight to behold. And DNMK really looking like they're going to end this game with a bang. Absolutely styling on kids right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And look, they have decided to play aggressive like you said they would. In the beginning, it looked like they would be a little bit more passive, but definitely now they know they can just run through the lobby, and that's looking like what they're going to try and do. But EGSA is still in this one, and we definitely know...
Your boy did it! He got another kill. Caramel brought down Tremble there.
The Rats versus the Rat, man. Can the Rat Busters get out here? Because Caramel is out here with 4 kills, actually ratting things out, and he's doing so good for himself. So I'm sure his stream is buzzing right now, going crazy, and hopefully he can try maybe get a 3rd place finish here for the team. DNMK gonna be taking shots here at Elite Gaming, and it's a little bit awkward. DNMK is on a bit of a high ground position, but the zone right now is what they look like they want to be playing. It does look like HSA is going to be aggressive here with the PK shot. 1-2! Damn, what a shot there, man. I mean, that had to be a headshot, hit him for 121. And that's going to be Denny. So the Rats are out of this one so far. Wait, actually, Caramel's still the only Rat in this one. And as soon as they find him out, it's going to be rough. So now it's going to be DNMK versus EGSA as soon as they find Caramel the Rat.
Oh, man. Caramel, I believe in you, fam. Do it for the stream. You wait for the hype, but Elite Gaming versus DNMK cannot ask for a better finale here at Tendo Place. 2 of our top teams in Africa battling it out on the biggest stage. The zone pulling in a very awkward position. They got a nice high ground here on DNMK. Don't know if it's going to stay there after round 4 closes. Or the next zone starts closing in, rather.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it pulls up to DNMK, or maybe it'll favor the likes of Elite Gaming here at the low ground. Caramels are still just trying to do as much as he can as a solo. It does look like they're going to drop onto the opposite side, which is a little bit interesting from what I'm seeing here. It does seem like there's a little bit of this high ground left here. And oh my goodness, these shots from Clutch, honestly. I don't even know how he does it with the wingman, to be honest with you. He just does crazy work here. The shots are flying from the opposite side here. Elite Gaming is World War 3 here. This is the finale of the African Throwdown hosted by Nodwin Gaming. DNMK versus Elite Gaming right here to see who's one of the best teams in the African continent.
Dude, Elite Gaming gotta be feeling themselves right now. It is such a tight affair. Caramel gonna have to make the rotation soon. But credit to him for getting a top 3 finish here for Revert Caustic in the final game. They were struggling on this day number 2. They had good performance in day number 1, but they haven't been doing so well. And this time around, Caramel doing the big things. But this fight, in terms of zone, Tendo, who do you think it's favoring? Is he going to be favoring the side of Elite Gaming, or is DNMK going to get lucky once again?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit tough to call at this point because even though they have high ground, it's a bit of an awkward high ground position that they're playing from, you know, especially considering if the next zone that closes is obviously going to be the slow close, right? So DNMK is essentially, even though on high ground, wait, what is Clutch doing? Clutch is like, no ways, I'm going in for it. Yes, he actually made a portal so the rest of the team can get in on this one. So it's actually going to be a little bit of a hectic fight here. So DNMK is actually opting to end this one early off here. And Clutch is in, doing so much damage, but Clutch goes down here to EGSA. So now they have an advantage, but the portal has bought him a little bit of time here. But now, does EGSA make the aggressive play and try go up onto DNMK? They are going to try get the res on so far. The totem is down from EGSA. They can take the portal. The portal is taken, but the portal's in the air. What a smart portal from DNMK. They knew they sent Clutch in there to do as much as he can. If he gets knocked, he has the portal to get back into this one so that he'll be fine. If they take the totem up, the portal's in the air, he'll fall down in the ground. So now EGSA, DNMK back at a 3v3.
Caramel Gamer looking like he's finally going to get eliminated. So it is just the last 2 teams remaining. How's it going to go? The Gibby ulti was out. Now DNMK looking to make the rotation here. It is so tense. It's all culminating to the grand final, the final map, the final game of the African Throwdown. Who is going to win it? Elite Gaming taking a couple of bits of damage there from Tenchi, who has been so on point today. Doing even more the long range damage from DNMK. So consistent. Is EG going to get a chance to heal up? Are they going to get a chance to breathe? Or is Elite Gaming just going to... Sorry, Dynamic going to get another touch yet again. Chance Dury gets brought on. It's a 3 versus 2. Is Dynamic going to do it again? DNMK, they've been the best team for all 4 rounds here, it seems.
Oh, it's just Vyas on the high ground, the only one that was able to make it up. And we've seen John Wick do some crazy things, yeah, but this is a bit of an ask from him. He's going to have to wait it out a little bit because it doesn't seem like he has a clean way to get into the zone right now without getting destroyed by DNMK. But DNMK might just be crazy and send it on him, honestly speaking. They have the zipline to work with, but it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. So now Vyas is going to heal up and just try to play as much damage as he can. He tries to poke out. He throws his silence. Doesn't hit anybody. He's doing a little bit of damage. The zone's going to close. And unfortunately for Vyas, he's going to have to move in soon. He is doing a lot of damage, though, onto DNMK. But how much damage is going to be enough if he can't get a knock at this point? It does seem like Tenchi is the player who's kind of baiting him out just a tiny little bit so that he doesn't focus on the rest of the team who are hiding on the fence here. The zone is closing in. This is it. This is the finale of the African Throwdown, and this is how it ends. It's John Wick Vyas, the storyline all the way from the group stages, now here in the finals. He has to clutch it out for his team. He's throwing his armor. He wants a punching battle. Is this what he wants? Is DNMK gonna give it to him? No, DNMK is like, not today, Vyas. We are the champions of the African Throwdown.
Domination. That's the only thing I have to say about our champions here in the African Throwdown. These guys were far and away the best team today in 4 lobbies. First, second, first. Like, it was just insane. Sorry, 3 first place and only 1 second place. That is madness. That is madness. That is skill at the highest order. That is showing up on the day, Esmery. Oh man, respect to you, boys. Respect to you.
Woo! Taking 3 maps from the grand finales, and I mean, we were wondering, you know, where is DNMK? We had them pretty consistent in the beginning, and then they started showing up there towards the end. And today, Camille, they're just awake. They're just like, no, we've got this. We're going to show you guys how we play a game. We're going to show you how we win. Potentially, I don't know. Who knows?
It's my favorite. This last one of theirs is my most favorite win because they played very good. They played smart Apex, but this one they played DNMK Apex. They went in. They were the most aggressive team. They got all the kills. Clutch was back on his favorite hero Wraith, and he was so clutch on it. It was a sight to behold. It was just great. It was a treat. I'm so sad it's over. Oh no.
Well, here we go. Our MVP for that, Mr. John Wick himself, Vyas, with the most damage dealt, 2.4 Man, oh man, it's crazy to see, because we're finally getting to this point. I have to give a big shout out to Viaz. You've been the John Wick since the group stages, and we've been absolutely loving what you've been doing. And I've really just been loving what everyone's been doing. I have to say, if anything, what this tournament has proved is the sheer amount of talent that are within our borders, the sheer amount of beautiful people in the community, behind the scenes, playing in the teams, playing the tournaments, organizing the tournaments, that have really been bringing us this action. Just absolutely amazing. They've been working off, and I don't know, from me, the only thing that I want to say is hashtag uplift Apex Africa. I had to just break it at the end there, didn't I? But ultimately, I'm just really proud of everyone that we've been bringing in here, the people that we've been seeing, the teams that we've been seeing from the group stages, the story that we've been following. It has come to this point, it has come to this moment, and I'm gonna, before we jump into the standings, I do want to talk about what exactly are these teams playing for. What has all of this culminated up to? Where are we going with this? And that is, of course, our prize pool, which, just for a reminder for all of you guys, there is top 4 that are going to be taking a share of that $1,000 prize pool. Of course, 4th place taking $400, 3rd place taking $200, 2nd taking $300, and your champions running away with $400. Absolutely well deserved to everyone who makes it into the top 4, of course, because you guys have been putting in the work. And your champions, looking at it now, are going to be DNMK running away with that 1st place prize. No real surprise just yet, but my goodness gracious, what an amazing tournament to see it happen.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was breathtaking to say the least. There's so much action in these lobbies that was breaking loose, and I mean, DNMK just know how to handle all that action and know exactly how to, back themselves in every single fight. But look, kudos to every single team that made it to this top 10. I mean, we started this tournament with 53 teams. So this top 20, so if you're in this top 20 grand final, you're definitely one of the best teams in Africa, and you shouldn't look down at yourself thinking that, hey, guys, we didn't really perform today. You still have other opportunities. Get in there, play Apex, practice. Just because DNMK is on top for now doesn't mean they're going to be on top forever.
That is a true story. And I mean, we've been seeing time and time again how DNMK have just had all the space to work with, right? They were uncontested from the get-go. They had all the time to get their loot up. They had the longest loot phase of a lifetime, and I think they were contested maybe once, maybe twice. And at that point, they were already fully kitted. They were already fully up with their shields, all the armor, all the nades, the ammo, the guns of their choosing to work with here. And Camille, from your side, how do you think this went? I mean, we had such a different storyline yesterday, and again today. I mean, I was clenching, just waiting to see who our top 5 were going to be every single map going through this.
I mean, again, you got to look at the overall story, the bigger picture. Because if you think about DNMK and their run, not just through this finals, throughout the tournament, in the groups, they won every single match in the group stage. Then they had the most kills by far of all 3 groups. Come semi-finals, they had very strong and dominant performances. Yesterday, they finished 2nd in their group, and Tenchi was just upset. They were mad. They were like, this is not enough for us. They were hungry, and they came here today, and what they did was, gotta say, Dr. Sid's favorite term here, they put on a masterclass. It was utter domination.
It was absolutely just beautiful to see and to watch how all of these teams have changed their plans going through from the group stages, how they've adapted, how a lot of our players have really learned a lot. I think we've seen, the evolution of a lot of the teams that started off really badly in the group stages coming through to the semifinals, making an absolute showing, making an absolute stand, and claiming those top spots. And it's insane to see, because it's such a short timeline, but we've seen so many teams evolve, we've seen so many teams do better. But for those of you watching, I've got some very good news. We are going to find out how those standings are looking and who are going to be your top 4. We know DNMK are there, but who is in the top 10? Is Outlaws going to be making the Dr. Sid prize pool? Who's going to be taking the share of that $1,000 prize pool? And of course, who are your Apex Legends African Throwdown champions? That is the question on all of our minds. So without further ado, let's go check how the standings are looking. And here it is, your top 4, ATK, Blind Peekers, Elite Gaming, and of course DNMK up on top. Underrated, 2 points away from making it into the top 4.
No, that is so unfortunate, honestly. And look, I want to just shout out underrated. They really gave it the all this game. Yesterday they had a pretty terrible start to the grand finals, but today they really brought their fire. And I don't know how YSO did it to get one extra point as well on top of that, but he did it somehow. And yeah, I mean, if they survived a little bit longer, underrated would have made it in that top 4, man. And I think they do deserve to kind of be in that top 4 after how they played today, considering how ATK's games were going. But yeah, man, it is what it is. EGSA taking that second place, you love to see it. I think EGSA definitely one of the best teams on the African continent. Blind Peakers, bittersweet for them, I think. Coming out, starting yesterday being the first place team to now being in third place. It is what it is. It does happen out there. Unfortunately, Outlaws also just kind of bites the dust there, not making it into that Dr. Sid prize pool, but it is what it is. I think our top 10 really represents, the top 10 teams in the African continent. And last one, Revert Caustic. You guys did good today, honestly, man. Shout out to Caramel. He really, tried to play it in that last game, and he really gave it his all.
Just absolutely insane. And I mean, it's insane to see that this is our top 10, because this whole time I have not been able to predict this. I have not been able to say concretely that, these are the teams that we're looking at in top 10. These are the teams that are definitely going to be taking the prize pool, because there were times, so many times that honestly that top 4 could have looked very, very different. But here they are, your top 4 taking away a share of the prize pool. Insane to see. ATK, Blind Peakers, Elite Gaming, and DNMK. There are your earnings. Well done. Absolutely congratulations. Taking an absolute stand here in the first African Apex Legends Throwdown, and what a tournament it has been. For those of you watching, I have a little bit of insider information. So for those of you who are watching, please do make sure that you follow the Not In Gaming Africa socials, because if you've enjoyed the Apex Legends African Throwdown, then I have some pretty good news for you. You should be watching those socials very closely, because there will be something mysterious popping up in the next few days or so that you might be wanting to keep your eye on. So just keep that in mind. And big shout out to those in the background, of course, Not In Gaming Africa, our production team, our observers, all the admins doing the crazy amounts of maths in the background to give us the standings so quickly every single day. You guys are the real MVPs, and we thank you so much for this tournament. It has been an absolute blast. Big shout out to Dr. Sid. Sad that he can't be here with us today, but Tendo, Camille, I have to give a shout out to you guys as well, bringing us the play-by-plays of today. It's been absolutely